Me like this song, Dire Straits. In fact, I actually have a fun memory that's coming back to me as we speak right now with this little hottie who got in a fight over me with her girlfriend when I walked into the the dry cleaners when I was on TV back many years ago, and they recognized me. Oh, my goodness. Here we go.
Dry cleaner store.
Money for nothing and the chicks are free. Look out. 303. Here we go. I love this now. It's only me. It's only the Kimmer with Pete Davis, sidekick producer and sports raconteur extraordinaire, and the mechanical mangler Flounder at the controls, and new Nick the intern is back there in the dark there place somewhere. Now, Pete, did you do a Holy Crap It's Sports podcast last night as predicted, possibly?
At 1 a.m., I certainly did.
Oh, my goodness. Well, well, that's good. Holy Crap It's Sports. Just tune it in because it's quite... Oh, what was that? Are everybody all right?
You hit the microphone.
I did? I didn't even feel it. By the way, I thought that was pretty funny. I'm sorry. Play the music. I'm just totally crazy. I was up all night. I'm sorry. I ate. I'm just not. I think it's a tumor. Anyway, Dire Straits on this day, 1987. Yeah. MTV Europe was launched, the first video played being Money for Nothing by Dire Straits, including the appropriate line, I want my MTV. The music video for the song featured early 3D computer animation illustrating the lyrics. The video was one of the first uses of computer-animated human characters, and at the time was groundbreaking of its release in June 1985.
Also has Sting on the backing vocals.
Oh, is that? Oh, cool. Really? Well, there you are. Oh, that's pretty cool. And again,
you can hear him right there.
What's that?
You could hear him right there.
Right there, yeah.
Yeah.
And the reason I remember why this kicks off a memory is because I took this little chickie for a Harley ride. On the back of my Harley, we drove through Sausalito and Mill Valley and those beautiful little, sea towns and stuff. And I stopped at a record store and bought the Dire Straits, not CD, but the little plastic square thing. What was there? Cassette, yeah. This is like 87 or something. And I bought her that cassette. As a little treat, and it was rewarded later. But anyway, boom, bam, boom. Oh, by the way, before I forget, two things. We just about ready to start, just been going on here, just before the news are coming on. And Flounder, by the way, Flounder's been coming out he's doing a lot of work today. I've been swamping him with all kinds of stuff, so I really appreciate all this extra stuff. So we're getting, and he's really taking care of business. Because I'm kind of feeling kind of goofy in here right now. And he says, now, is your screen okay to take calls? Is your screen all set to go? And I said, yeah, it's all set. You know why it's all set? It was not all set. I can't believe I did this. I cannot believe I did this. As you know, I am not a new guy on social media and tech stuff. When I came in here, the whole screen had been various pictures and things, and it was just, like a match patch of the computer screen. And down below, there are five little doohickeys. There's a thing like a square, then there's a blue circle, then there's
those are called icons.
There are 5 icons, and one of them is like a yellow with a V with and an X
or a V, yes.
Yeah. Well, that's the one I used to be able to hit and would go to the phone screen, but I kept hitting it, and it went, and it wouldn't do anything. So I'm going, oh my God, I don't have my phone screen. This was like 8 minutes ago. And I'm thinking, oh crap, I don't have my phone screen. I said, instead of going to Flounder, I'm going to try something. And so, no, I did. And again, I don't like doing this because I know I'm going to screw it up. I know half the time it'll go, oh crap, and it's gone, and I have to, call somebody. But I said, I'm going to try this, and I don't remember which one. Up on the top left and top right, there were X's. And so I just picked one with the little goose thing. What do you call it? The mouse. And I picked the one, I think on the left, I don't remember. And I clicked off that X, and it came and eliminated the thing. And then I put it back on, and I got my phone screen.
Well, there you go. You fixed it yourself.
I fixed it myself, and I have no idea how or why. Anyway, all right, now a couple things. God, it's already 3:08. Okay. All right, I'm going to slow down. In fact, I had a chance to slow down because traffic took another extra 15 minutes today. School's back. We'll talk about that in a second, too. But now, I mentioned yesterday, I may not even have mentioned, I mentioned to Pete, who was sitting next to me yesterday, when I realized when I got here, after, working 8 hours at home before I even come into work, I had left my history and birthday sheet at home. I couldn't find it when I brought my stuff in here. And as it turned out, when I got home last night, I realized that it had fallen off my table where I work and slipped underneath the table. So that's why I never saw it to put it in my bag when I came here. Anyway, so as a special treat, I'm going to be doing I'm going to do a birthday and a mention of history from both.
Oh, no.
Today and yesterday.
Oh, God.
No. We got to do this. No, there's no bell ringing.
It's not. Really? Oh, please.
Oh, come on. I did,
You're killing us.
I spent a lot of time.
You're killing us. Save it for next year.
Well, it's not going to be a next year at this rate. Our birthday lists include, by the way, this is Flounder Sky writes it this way, the Grease Man, 73, super talented radio legend.
What?
Yeah.
No.
The Grease Man.
It was horrible.
Well, the Grease Man had a routine, much like the early. Who's the guy in New York with the long hair and skinny with a small thingy? Howard Stern. Much like he talks about a small thingy all the time. Howard Stern, and he had a gig, and now he's changed everything and become political and stupid. But he had an original gig and it worked. So did the Grease Man. The Grease Man was an idiot, but he definitely had a gig. Now he never made it in Atlanta. He was here for a while, but it didn't really work. Anyway, he's 73, so if you remember him, let you go. Let's see. Okay, a history thing from yesterday. Here we go. 2001, Napster is finally closed down by court order 2 years after its meager beginnings of a few file sharers turned it into millions of people stealing music on their MP3 players for free. Well, the founder, Sean Parker, was prominently featured in the Social Network movie, nailing the 50 Shades of Grey daughter of Melanie Griffith and Don Miami Vice guy. Anyway, that was a part of the story, was that he picked up this chick, and she didn't know that she said, oh my God, I slept with Sean Parker. He says, no, you slept on Sean Parker. All right, that's yesterday's history. Now one from today. Oh, here we go. In the Solomon Islands on this day, 1943, Solomon Islands. I'll bet Pete Davis knows what I'm going to say right now, don't you?
I'm trying to just forget this whole segment.
No, wait a minute. This can't be. Is this bad? Have I got to stop doing this, my little history and thing section?
No. Just do one day, though.
Well,
you're killing us.
Oh, well, all right, then. I'll save this for next time. Well, then we're going to have to take more breaks.
You know what you remind me of? You remind me of Fox News with all the crap going on in the world. It leads with this Long Island serial killer like anyone cares outside of Long Island.
In fact, I have a note here in front of me. Quote, the serial killer's family, what do they do? They're covering it wall to wall on Fox TV. It's unbelievable. And it's an interesting story, but it's not something we really care to talk about that much. Other than this, how would you like to be his son or daughter or wife? And by the way, think about, I assume that they are going to be outcasts just because they, were the family. And so are they going to have to move? And they're probably going to go broke. Or they're going to get sued. God, can you imagine if all of a sudden, that's my father who's a serial killer? And my, I can't imagine what they're going to be going through. How could it affect that family forever?
All I imagine is if this happened in Seattle or Macon or anywhere else, no one would have heard of it.
Yeah, I know. It's New York.
I'm tired of it.
Yeah, and again, you would think, and again, our big story, obviously, today is still going to be the horrible coverage of the greatest scandal in the history of America. And how I'm a little upset. There's more and more coming out. We need to get to the money. We'll get to that in a second. A couple of quick housekeeping things. I put on Rumble and YouTube and my I forget where else. The video coming in today, driving in today, as you get to the parking lot here at the ballpark, part of the road collapsed from heat. It melted. There's a melting hole, so you can see the raw, tar stuff, and the crumbled. And I put the video on there. You can see my car bounce about 8 inches in the air, going over the hump. It collapsed. What?
Kevin,
yeah.
It's hotter than a chainsaw in a Paulding County pawn shop.
Well, by golly. But if you think about it, I mean, the road collapsed. There's a big, like a 4-foot round hole, and you can see my car bouncing up and down trying to go because it melted. Oh, my God. Anyway, school's open. The traffic was different. We got a million things, and we're going to get right to the Hunter Biden stuff. Well, we got so much, and a lot of good sound coming up, too, of these politicians trying to explain it. And they're blaming it on the poor little dead son. We'll get to that in a second. 3:13 with a Kimmer, Pete Flounder, and New Nick's back there on 106.3. It's only the Kimmer with Pete Davison Flounder and New Nick back there interning away. With the police, 207, baby. 207. Yeah, it's 3:17 on this day in 2007. I never liked this song. I'm sorry. It's whiny and stupid. But again, you know, I'm the only person in America who doesn't love this song. I'm sure of it. Oh, God. See, now that's just not attractive. I'm sorry. Oh, God. So that's fine. This day in 2007, the police Played the first of two sold-out, and I see there you are. Sold-out nights, two back-to-back, Madison Square Garden on their reunion tour. Roxanne, okay, all right, good. Now, because of Pete Davidson, grumpy old bastard over there, now I can only, I'll do a today birthday, and then next break we'll do a yesterday birthday in history that I've spent.
You're confusing people.
I'm just going to tell you what the story is. On this day, 44 years ago, I'm being very specific here, this is today's birthday.
Yeah.
Jason Momoa. Aquaman, Justice League, Khal Drogo on Game of Thrones.
Shark Week.
Dreadlock-wearing warrior Ronon on Stargate Atlantis. I don't think I've heard of that. Anyway, Jason Momoa is 44. He's a big dude to do. And let's do a history thing. Here we go. 1966, ex-Marine Charles Whitman. Okay, I know. There's no such thing as an ex-Marine. And by the way, my whole life it's ex-Marine. The guy's an ex-Marine. Oh, my God, look out. When you say somebody's an ex-Marine, I mean, oh, God, watch out. He's probably freaking crazy. If they're saying, oh, now, no, there's no such thing as an ex-Marine. Now it's a former Marine. So they say, now the former Marine. It sounds like that's got a little milk toasty. If you call the guy, look out, he's an ex-Marine, you go, oh, crap, oh, no, I'm sorry. Like that. So I'm going to say the guy's an ex-Marine. Unfortunately, it's not a happy story. Charles Whitman, 1966, takes a stockpile of guns and ammo 300 feet up into the observatory tower at the University of Texas. And then he shoots till he wounds 31 and kills 14 people. He had killed his wife and his mother the night before. And everybody says he used to live a very quiet life up until that moment.
Yeah. He was a loudmouth who never kept to himself. Did you see the TV movie?
I did not. What was it called?
I don't know what it was called, but the star, the guy who played Charles Whitman, was Kurt Russell.
I remember seeing like the trailer or something. I remember.
Mr. Disney star.
Yeah, right. Wasn't he in the bearded dog or something? Where wasn't he? Didn't he turn into a dog?
Tennis shoes. No, he wasn't in Shaggy. Well, maybe he was.
Shaggy. I think he was. Wasn't he? That was Fred McMurray too, wasn't it?
Black-haired guy. Yeah, he was in the computer wore tennis shoes or something like that.
Anyway, that's kind of weird. All right. By the way, before I forget, I promise we're going to talk about a lot of this Hunter Biden stuff. You're going to hear some great sound bites too. But first of all, just for kicks, Pete found this or sent it along this morning, and I thought it was kind of interesting. There's something called an optical illusion. There's a thing on social media, an optical illusion, and it's a picture. It's not a video, so we can't put it on Rumble and YouTube. We won't take it. But there's a picture, and it's either a cloud or a fish. So if you can, and I think Flounder put it on Twitter. Did you? Was that correct?
Pete put it on Twitter earlier, but what I'll also do is I'll have Mike put the link on our website,
which is
thekimmershow.net.
There you are.
And it's on the site on the internet where you are.
Never mind that now. Yeah, what is it? Well, it's a series of numbers and letters. You bastard. Anyway, so, and just for fun, and I know you hate making phone calls, but honestly, I'm an old-fashioned phone call guy. I'd love to hear your comments when you look at this picture and tell me your immediate reaction. It's either a fish or a cloud. And although there's some controversy about whether there are other. Anyway, check it out because it determines whether or not you can be committed in a relationship. That's the hook to it. I thought, now how are they going to figure that out? By seeing whether it's a fish or a cloud. And apparently that they can figure that out. And also, by the way, speaking of that, hold on.
What did you see?
I saw. I clearly, without a question, a fish immediately. I never saw a cloud ever. And by the way, there's one other thing. There's a psychiatrist or some Harvard experts came up with, let's see, what you should ask if you're looking for love and trying to find compatibility with your spouse. These guys at Harvard came up with an algorithm to ask 3 revealing, humble questions to determine whether a couple has real potential. So if you look at that, and we'll talk about that. If you want to join us on this, it'd be kind of fun, or not. If it isn't, we'll kill it. But I think it's kind of interesting if you want to call and do it, because we're just goofing around as part of our newsy day. And if you look at the either cloud or fish, what do you think? And can you then describe your personality? Because I'll read what it says about which one you are, depending on whether it's a cloud or a fish, to see whether you agree. That might be fun. It might not. Here's a phone number, 404-741-1230, 741-1230. Okay, so that'll be fun later. Also, I got something else about that. We'll get that later. Quick thing, traffic this morning. I took, again, thanks to Nick, I took the no highways route in, another different route. And by the way, it took almost 20 minutes longer. School's back, which I also can't believe. Atlanta, Cherokee, Cobb, Decatur, and Rockdale schools are in class today. Tomorrow, Buford, Clark, Clayton, Douglas, Gwinnett, Henry, Marietta, and Oconee. And on Thursday, Fayette and Forsyth County, DeKalb and Fulton start August 7th. I mean, and again, well, in the north, we never went back to school until Labor Day. In fact, we would take vacations. Labor Day was, so let's have our last little fling at Labor Day, and then we go back to school. And they're doing it here in the South, when despite it's hot, because they want to have earlier exams, so you don't have to come back at Christmas break and take tests and stuff like that. And it makes for a few more days of a break during the year or something, I guess. But anyway, I still think it's way too early to go back to school in the first week of the first day of August, or second day, or whatever it is. Anyway, okay, now for the record. Pete Davis, I know you saw this and passed it along. The coverage of the Hunter Biden hearing, basically, on Devin talking his former business associate, Devin Archer. And it's clear there are smoking guns all over the place. And yet the New York Times, Pete, what did you think about the New York Times coverage and the reaction to it of the Hunter Biden hearing?
It's total gaslighting. In the last few months, it went from the New York Times saying this was a conspiracy theory to it was a baseless accusation to now it's, oh, yeah, we all knew that. We've done that the whole time, that he's known about the business.
One of the reactions is it buried in the article, by the way, is a gem quote. This is a New York Times report. It has long been known that the elder Mr. Biden at times interacted with his son's business partners. Wait a minute. Hold on a second. Excuse me? Now you're saying, we've known forever the elder Mr. Joe Biden at times. Of course he interacts with his son's business partners. Holy crap, you just said everything you've said before is a freaking lie. I mean, how else can you read this?
Clay and Buck played a montage of Biden throughout the last year or two. It was lie after lie after lie, saying he never had anything to do with it.
And again, he literally said he's never talked to his son about his business. Not that he was part of it. He said, I've never even talked to my son or his business partners about his business. And now it's all a lie. And then remember the podium princess, she's gay, she's black, he's a girl. She came out and said, well, he's always denied that he's never been in business with him. That's not what you said before. Oh, nothing's changed. Yes, it has changed. And now you changed your entire story. Now you're saying, now you're not denying he knew about it. You're just denying a quote that he had anything to do with the business end of it. And anyway, it's just this one lie after another. And the claims in 2019, he repeatedly said he had never discussed and had never spoken to Hunter about his business dealings. And then he said, well, we've known for a long time he interacts with his son's partners. Oh, my God. How about Representative Jim Jordan there, Flounder, if you would, sir? This guy is leading the charge, talking about the link to Burisma because of the hearing they know now.
Jim Jordan, that's not on my sheet.
Oh, I thought you had that.
No, I have...
Pete sent that down earlier. Sorry about that. I thought you had that.
I can get that ready, but the one I do have is Comer.
Yeah, let's talk. Representative Comer, he's leading the House charge here, and we'll get to Jordan.
Might sound something like...
Whoops.
We have evidence in this sworn testimony that from a fellow Burisma board member that they were pressuring Hunter to immediately get on the phone with his father and get this stopped. So, the evidence continues to mount, and today we saw Joe Biden has lied to the American people. He knew exactly who his son was getting those millions and millions of dollars of wires from, and he spoke to them, and he spoke to them often.
He went on to say Devin Archer testified they were influence peddling. We wondered what the business was. It was influence peddling. We heard today from someone on the inside. They sold Joe Biden. That's what the business was. And Joe Biden himself talked to every single person. This is important. The Democrats can't deny this, too. We heard today somebody in the business about Joe Biden. Joe Biden himself talked to every single person that has wired money to the Bidens. Joe Biden talked to everybody who gave the family money. The testimony is opening the door to impeachment and also to the Foreign Registration Act against Hunter and Joe Biden. Because if he knew he was talking to business partners that got him money in return for something involving foreign affairs, he's violated the law along with his son. He was an active participant, said Comer, an active participant in at least one deal we know of with the Burisma people. He was actively participating and doing a benefit to this foreign agent for the foreign country and withholding American tax dollars in the form of foreign aid for that. Again, that's part of what he was bragging.
I got the Jim
They're
Jordan right
having
here.
a board meeting in Dubai on December 4th, 2015. After the board meeting, Hunter Biden meets with Devin Archer, Zolochevsky, and Pizarski, the two key guys who run Burisma. They meet for drinks. During that meeting, they say, we need the U.S. government to intervene. We're under pressure from the prosecutor. We're facing pressure in Great Britain because they've sanctioned and seized our assets, $23 million in Britain. We need some help. They make a phone call to D.C. Mr. Archer, I don't know who they called, but they called D.C. And 5 days later, December 9th, 2015, Joe Biden is in Ukraine, and he gives a speech starting the pressure on the prosecutor in Ukraine. 5 days after that meeting, 5 days after a phone call to D.C., 5 days where they used the Biden brand, according to what we learned today, the Biden brand was the value Hunter Biden brought to this business arrangement. That took place simply 5 days later.
The brand was Joe, wasn't it,
And then, of course, we know... Yeah, the brand was totally Joe Biden, the guy with the power and the connections in D.C. But 5 days after that, this conversation takes place, this speech takes place, and then a few months later, that clip you just played, Shokin gets fired. That's how serious this was.
Yep, and you're going to hear more from the libs on how they're trying to snow job you two coming up next. It's 3:30, like almost 3:30. Look out, here we go. Joyce, now time to slow it down. A little slow dancing with the Kimmer Nighttime Dance Theater. I want to do an overnight show, like midnight to 5 or something.
Well, keep up that double history thing. You will be.
I'll be looking for something, all right. See if they got anything in Des Moines, Iowa, maybe on weekends. This is John Lennon. 2007 this day, John Lennon's granny sunglasses were snapped up by a British collector at auction. From one of the last Beatles concerts, they were expected to fetch about £1 million, which is what, 1.2 million or thereabouts. Auction bosses refused to say what they actually got. John Lennon gave the gold-rimmed glasses to his Japanese interpreter in Tokyo back in 1966, and the translator removed the lenses when Lennon died. Well, I'll be damned. And we were on auction in 2007. That's kind of weird. By the way, speaking of the Beatles, was on this day, 1968, the Beatles recorded their first record for Apple Records, Hey Jude. The B-side was, do you guys know the B-side? You probably know this. Hey Jude B-side? Revolution. Hey Jude went to number 1 and stayed there for 9 weeks, which is fairly impressive. Let's see if I got a... I can do one birthday from yesterday. I'm doing one birthday whether you like it or not. It was an old if you're a certain age, of course. If you ever used to watch Knots Landing or Twin Peaks, an actor named Don Murray, who married Hope Lang back in the day. Don Murray is 94 years old. Anyway, happy birthday, Don, and there you are. Okay, now, all right, no. All right, now we're gonna go right more of the Hunter Biden thing in the hearing. And wait to hear how the liberals are trying to spin this. I mean, it's just Mr. Family Man. But first, do we have some? I knew Nick and Flounder may have some reaction on YouTube or possible about the fish or the cloud. Is that correct or not correct?
Yes, so let's see what we got here. Grubbinator says fish. We have Kim Lawson says fish. So the majority is fish when looking at it. There's one or two that say a cloud, but Mark says fish. Let's see, Butch also says fish.
Fishy.
So the majority seems to be fish right now.
Well, let me, while we're at it, I'll briefly describ. I'd love to to talk to somebody about to see whether they think it's
Why don't you tell us what it means?
I'm going to tell you right now. The first object, if you see a cloud, it is said to suggest both resilience and sensitivity while in a relationship. If you first saw the cloud, although you may, again, these are Harvard people who did an algorithm, so if you first see a cloud, although you may seem like a very resilient and brave person on the outside, in reality, you're quite sensitive. You may have a heart that is easily broken. As a result, you often find yourself hurt by the words and actions of others. Now, seeing a cloud could also signify commitment issues due to having high standards when forming romantic connections. And you hate the idea of settling for someone, and you have very high standards when going into a relationship. That's if you see the cloud, so they say. Now, if you see a fish, they explain the fish signifies the individual's intention to make the most out of life while never wasting time or attention on those who don't deserve it. If you first saw the fish, then you have this mentality that since life is short and we're all going to die anyway, we might as well live life to the fullest. Viewers were almost unified in agreement, with most confirming spotting a fish upon first observing the illusion. Almost everybody sees the fish. One guy said, what if you see both at the same time? One guy saw a fluffy dragon. Well, sir, you're not being cooperative then. You're
drunk.
You could be alone forever. You're like the Kimmer, you're an incel, whether you like it or not. One guy said, I see a freaking cat. Well, okay, fine. Now, and again, just here's, and this I thought was really weird. Harvard experts did an algorithm to attempt to determine compatibility with your spouse. And these mathematicians have revealed 3 humble questions to determine whether a couple has real potential. Here are the 3 questions. Number 1, do you like horror movies? Number 2, have you ever traveled alone? And number 3, wouldn't it be fun to chuck it all and go live on a sailboat?
Flounder should be asking Veronica these
He's got it.
questions.
Why don't you call her right now and ask her, and we won't hear her answers, but we'll hear your questions, and then we'll see your reaction when you call her. Call her right now on the phone. She'll talk to you. Be very happy to talk to you.
Yeah.
And ask her those questions.
I'll get right on that.
Come on. You're the only one with a girl. My God.
Yes,
How about
come
Nick?
on.
Hey, Nick, have you got a girlfriend?
I've had one.
Well, you've had one in your... Oh, I'm sorry I asked. Well, let's go on to the next topic. Jeez, you're doing worse than I am. I thought that was impossible.
We're walking.
We're going forward. Well, again, here are the the experts came up with the questions.
All right, she just texted me, so you want me to call her?
Okay, yeah,
Yes.
absolutely. In fact, if you want, and you can repeat her, we won't put her on voice on there if you don't want, or you can if we
not?
want to. If she doesn't mind, that'd be great, I think.
All right, sit tight.
Okay, and this will be fun. And again, I'll ask you, they came up with questions responsible for building a dating website called OkCupid, which you've heard of, the fastest growing dating website. And these are the guys who came up with it. Which is why I thought, and they're Harvard experts with an algorithm made OkCupid. They have knowledge because Harvard does it, are very keen on data, wanted to build a compatibility algorithm based on survey questions. These 3 questions, above all others, seem to determine if you and someone else have long-term potential. And as soon as he gets her on the phone, we'll ask the 3 questions. He's down there now, I believe. And we'll see what she thinks. And now you got to be honest too. And this doesn't. Now, if you don't agree, that doesn't necessarily mean anything. We don't want you to, get all verklempt or something if you're not perfectly on the same page.
He had a perfectly good relationship going.
I don't want to. I don't want to be responsible. I'm trying to get. Every once in a while, I try to get Flounder kind of a romantic tip. He wants nothing to do with it.
No.
He says, we'll go out Friday night. We'll figure out something. I'm not going to, make plans in advance. We'll do. We'll have fun. Okay, fine. I'll stay out of it.
Finally, thank you.
Thank you. When's the last time we wanted to see pictures of you on the beach, but that with her, but that doesn't matter. Do we have Veronica on the line?
Yes, we do.
Oh, hey, Miss Veronica, how are you today?
I'm well. How are you?
Well, I'm on the right side of the grass, sweetie, and we appreciate your taking time out of your busy day. I'll try to make this short. It's an algorithm come up with the guys who made the website OkCupid, and they say that they'll ask 3 simple questions which will determine whether a couple has real potential for a long-term relationship. For you and Flounder, Miss Veronica, question number 1: do you like horror movies?
No.
Flounder?
No, I'm not a horror movie fan.
God, I feel good about that. Number 2, have you ever traveled alone?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, and now, Miss Veronica, would you say this was it a fun experience, or was it something you feel free to do all the time? It's not a big deal, or was it a challenge, or how would you describe traveling alone?
It was fun, a little nerve-wracking, but it was fun.
Yeah, and Flounder, most guys.
I enjoyed myself.
Yeah, well, I think that's great. And third, here's the question: wouldn't it be fun to just chuck it all and go live on a sailboat?
Sure.
Absolutely.
You're going to be married. Oh,
waited.
This is unbelievable.
Waited to hear.
Are you registered anywhere? Is it, Bed Bath & Beyond or? Well, I'm excited. And Miss Veronica, I'm thrilled for you. I'm so glad that Founder actually got a real girl. I swear to God, we all thought he's fake. And there's no woman involved here. And when I saw you when I was driving into work at the time down the sidewalk, I said, oh my God, she's real. And you're a doll too, and I'm thrilled for it. Anyway, thank you. We'll let you go. Have a great day. Thank you, Miss Veronica, and best of luck. Nice to talk to you, sweetie. Have a great day.
Thanks. Y'all too.
All right, talk to you later. Well, that was very nice. Well, that's good. That's good. That's cool. And they say those 3 questions. Got 3:44. All right. Well, I'll tell you what. Well, when we come back, wait to hear what they're talking about on MSNBC about the reasons that the 2 Hunter and Joe Biden people, actually were communicating. They're blaming it on a terrible tragedy. It had nothing to do with business of Hunter. No, I totally believe you there. And some wrap-ups, and also they're coming after our freaking light bulbs. Oh, yeah? Yeah, you better bring some friends. Sorry, 4:15 here with the Kimmer, Pete, and Flounder, and new Nick there. Look out. This is our boys at AC/DC, I'm guessing, right? Sounds like AC/DC to me. How you doing? It's only me and so the Kimmer. Oh, sorry. I wasn't ready for that. Now, you don't know what he's saying right there. There's no way you know what those words are.
He's Australian.
Take a rama sigh. Yeah, that's great. Freaking poetry right there.
He's
Dear
speaking
Lord.
Australian.
Well, what's that got to do with
I don't speak Australian.
So you don't have to understand him?
Fair dinkum, I don't.
Dinko ate my baby. Highway to hell. I got those words. Yeah, I'm driving there right now. Going about 160. I make it to 100 at least once a month. Anyway, almost 350, dear Lord. AC/DC on this day in 2000 kicked off their 140-date Stiff Upper Lip World Tour at the Van Andel Arena, Grand Rapids, Michigan in 2000. Quick birthday. I'll do one from today's birthday list because old Mr. Meanie Pants doesn't want me to do one from today and yesterday, which I had to bring in because I left it home and I'm going to make up for it. Tempest Bledsoe. Remember she played Vanessa Huxtable on the Serial Rapist show? Tempest Bledsoe is 50 today. Oh, well, no, he's a serial rapist. And Cosby, a serial rapist. And let's see. Oh, here's what I was going to do before. I'm going to do it anyway. 1943 on this day in the Solomon Islands. You know what I'm going to talk about, don't you?
No.
Oh, my God, I can't believe it. 1943, yes, you do. The Solomon Islands, 1943. World War II, Solomon Islands.
Indianapolis.
The Japanese destroyer Amagiri sank the American patrol boat PT-109. Its commander, John F. Kennedy, 2 of the 13 crewmen died in the attack, 1943, in the Solomon Islands. Let's see. What else we got here? Before I forget, we got a bunch of things to get to, and I'll get to them all, I promise you. Also, as you know, we are here in the business of passing along personal messages. We didn't used to be able to do this. But there's a guy named Wade who was at UGA, and he helped me come when Jack the Good Boy was having surgery over there at the animal surgery place. And he was real great about getting me to go see Jack and get pictures and stuff. And so I've been kind of in touch with him for a long time. And he has a little boy named Waylon Cash Gunter. And little Waylon is starting school tomorrow, his first day of kindergarten. And it's a big special day tomorrow for Waylon Cash Gunter. And he said, Dad says, don't worry, though. We're not letting the tyrants of the government brainwash him. He's being raised the right way from home. And by the way, Waylon, you don't know this, but your daddy said he's going to get you a pony and a go-kart as a special treat for that. So that's kind of nice, too. All right. Boom. Let's see what we got here. The thing, the serial killer with the thing, and the stuff went over here. Coming up, Pete texted me something off of Twitter last night about why guys will call adult phone lines, which we might get to that a little bit later on. First of all, okay, a couple of things on the Biden hearing, the hearing about Hunter Biden and President White Trash. By the way, is there any other evidence you need that this is just one family of white trash scoundrels? With no respect for America or us. It's just.
Did you see where the daughter threatened somebody that she was going to call the Secret Service on them?
Was that Ashley? Was that What's there was
the sex pervert, I believe.
Yeah. Oh God. Yeah, because they're showering with Daddy. The one who left her diary. In fact, do you have that story, Pete? We're kind of disgrumbled here today for some reason. I think there. Anyway,
you mean the fact that supposedly she showered with Daddy and she wrote that in her diary and she forgot it somewhere and someone else picked it up?
Well, she left it at her. She was at a halfway house, and in her diary she said she's turned into a sex maniac. She says she'll have sex with anybody, anytime, all her friends, all of their friends. She can't stop having sex, and she says, I guess it was probably all those showers with Daddy. And she left that diary under her mattress at some halfway house or a rental place or something. The person who found it, a woman, found it and then tried to sell it. And I think it was a guy, or maybe a couple, and got arrested. And I think it got sent to jail for trying to sell her personal diary. There was a big scandal about it. Anyway, I believe that was Ashley who, I don't know. Anyway, this is what they're saying at MSNBC, and this known liar, Congressman Dan Goldman from New York, a Democrat, talking on MSNBC about why. They say, well, Hunter Biden says he talks to Dad all the time, but, they talk about the weather and they just talk about personal things, never about business, because there's a very sad reason why they talk all the time.
interesting about the Biden thing, the Republicans, it's just this internal primal urge to visit retribution on the Democrats. And the problem is they can't find a fact. So look, is there problematic questions about Hunter Biden? And I said something that shouldn't be controversial, which is that if you committed a crime, you should be held accountable. But have they pointed to anything to suggest that Joe Biden engaged in corrupt behavior? No. And on the contrary, Hunter Biden's business partner said, yeah, he was on some phone calls talking about the weather, exchanging pleasantries. Is that in the category of, presidential family members that are problematic? Billy Carter, Hugh Rodham, maybe it's in that category, but it is sure and absolutely not a crime.
Well, that's not quite the one.
Let me find it.
Yeah, the other one was.
But who in the middle of a business meeting calls up their father and has their father talk about the weather when the father doesn't know any of the people in the meeting?
It's not. It's literally not to be believed. There's no possible way that Hunter Biden says, "Hey, let me get my dad on the phone just so he can say hi to people he's never met or has never even been introduced to." And by the way, if he was at these dinners, I mean, you're killing me. You talk about the weather you don't talk about the weather for 45 minutes or an hour while you're having dinner with people who are from the Communist Party. I mean, it's just unbelievable.
Hell of a cold front moving in. Where's my $1 million?
I know. The thing we'll get to here in a moment, they must have disappeared because we heard it a little while ago. The morning show regular named Jonathan Lemire was talking with us, or Lemire, maybe, I don't know, I never watched him. I was talking with this idiot Goldman, the liar from New York. And they said, well, they never discussed business on phone calls. It was only greetings and niceties and small talk. And then the regular guy on the MSNBC morning show said if the calls were specifically about overseas business dealings. And then he says, let me put this in context. Beau Biden got very sick in 2015. He died in the spring of 2015, which was right in the middle when Devon Archer had his business dealings with Hunter Biden. At that point, Joe Biden and Hunter Biden began to speak every day because they were devastated by Beau's death. They spoke every day. The witness testified that over his 10-year relationship with Hunter Biden, there may be approximately 20 times when Hunter would put his father at the dinner, not at a business meeting, a dinner he was having. Every dinner he has with the communist Chinese is a business meeting, you Nimrod. Anyway, a dinner he was having. If he happened to get a hold of his father, would ask his father to say hello to whoever was at the table. That was essentially the end of it. Joe Biden was doing nothing to benefit his son.
Oh.
He was calling him because they were so sad over the death of Beau.
They're using a dead man to get sympathy.
That's right. The Democrats
everybody has loss. Everybody loses a loved one and loses more than loved one. You cannot sit there 8 years later and keep using that as an excuse as why you're doing things.
Yeah. And again, this is supposed to be the man. First, they said, well, he's such a family man that he's just protecting his son, as every father would do, to make sure his son is taken care of and so forth. They're just being a family man. It's got nothing to do with, guarding him or something. I'm thinking, this is the worst family man in history. He had to be pressured into admitting he has another granddaughter. I mean, what a joke. Do we have a little thing there? Flounder is free.
He is guilty of turning a blind eye to some of his son's behavior, and we should put this in context. This is a time when Beau Biden, the president's other son, was ill and then dying and then passed away. So perhaps he was not as attentive to what he should have been here. But again, there has simply been no evidence, Gene Robinson, no evidence at all that he was profiting from this or that either of them committed a crime when it came to this. And we hear here from Comer and other Republicans, it's wishful thinking. They're trying to...
Wishful thinking. Here's the problem. Nothing's going to happen, thanks to Georgia, until they follow the money. If they can get 150 bankers under either in deposition or before a grand jury to testify, sir, could you tell us about this financial transaction in your bank in Romania or whatever, in Britain or whatever it was, or the Cayman Islands or something, where it came from and where it went and what was the nature of this transaction. And as soon as they can link the Biden family getting payments from someone involved with Hunter Biden's business, kaboom! Now, here's my other question. Where's the money? Seriously, where's the money? If they got 10 million here and 18 million there, where's the money? There's got to be they got to follow the money. Where are all the banking records? Where did it go? If it's all these LLCs and offshore accounts and stuff, there's got to be a record of it. And nobody's even talking about that. They keep saying, well, they got all these millions of dollars. Where is it? Let's go get it. And then it's over. Forever, it's over. And they can't possibly have an explanation for that. Look out, 4 o'clock. We'll be back. Stand by. Like Obama, baby. 403, how's it going? It's only me, it's only the Kimmer on 106.3 with Pete Davis and Flounder at the controls and new Nick back there. Los Lobos on this day, 1987, was at number 1 on the UK singles chart with Richie Valens' song La Bamba. Was also number 1 here in America. The song was the title track from the film based on Richie Valens, who died in the same plane crash as Buddy Holly. Terrible thing with the thing there. La 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 bamba. That's a good song. Happy song. Oops, today's we'll put that over there, over here. And now, our birthday list. This is from yesterday's birthday list. And I'm not even going to do one from today. I'm going to do one from yesterday. Sam Mendes, 58 years old. He wrote and directed the World War I movie 1917. His directorial debut was American Beauty. That was a weird movie, man. I kind of liked it, but it was very strange. And a couple of little hotties, too. That's what was kinky about it.
You thought that was strange?
I did, yeah.
We're flying on a charter flight with the Falcons.
Uh-huh.
So you got a bunch of football players on there, and they put this movie on.
American Beauty.
The first scene is Kevin Spacey naked in a shower playing with himself, and you talk about everybody trying not to look at each other.
I'd forgotten that entirely. Whose car is that? Mine. It's a 1967 Pontiac Firebird, a car I've always wanted, or whatever. I forgot what it was. What a strange movie. And she was pretty hot too back then, although I for some reason, what's her name? The shampoo guy's ex-wife. Oh, what the hell's her name? Oh,
shampoo
God.
Guy.
Yeah, well, the guy was. The shampoo guy was Shirley MacLaine's ex-husband, Warren Beatty, and her name is Annette Bening. Annette Bening.
I will sell this house today
with the king of real estate, with her legs in the air, baby. But the thing, I mean, she's a beautiful woman. She's what I would call a handsome woman, a very attractive woman. But I never got a single like a sexual spark out of her at all. She to me has no sex appeal whatsoever.
The Grifters. She was great in The Grift.
Yeah, I saw that movie. A great actress and a beautiful woman, but for some reason she's a little too, I don't know, kind of rough or not vulnerable. Yeah, kind of. Sorry. Anyway, this guy Sam Mendes, 58, also directed Road to Perdition. I just recorded that the other night. That's a great movie with Tom Hanks and Jarhead and the James Bond movies Skyfall and Spectre.
Yeah,
Sam Mendes, quite an achievement. All right, let's see what else we got here. This was pretty cool. I got one more.
Wait a second, before you go any further.
Yeah.
You were complaining about the Australian language.
Yeah, you can't hear the words.
Yet, tell me what Los Lobos was saying in there.
I did. La Bamba. It's, those are not English words, so it doesn't matter what they're saying. Just sound. It's the sound of it that's good.
In order to dance the bamba, you must, and then it goes on.
Oh, there you are. Anyway, is today the 2nd of August or the 1st? Is the first. Okay, well, on this day, exactly 1936, 87 years ago, the Olympic torch appeared for the first time, which I found amazing. I didn't know that was true. In 1936, for the first time, there was an Olympic torch. Unfortunately, it was at the opening ceremonies in Berlin, perhaps the most controversial opening ceremony of all time of any Olympic Games, presided over by Adolf Hitler. The more they got to know him, the more they really disliked the guy. I don't think much of him that much. If they get to know him, really not much of a good guy. I don't know. He only allowed those of the Aryan race to be on his Olympic teams. He must have crapped his pants when Jesse Owens did his thing. Can you imagine?
We were talking about this last year on the podcast. Last summer, I went over to visit some relatives in Bruce, Mississippi, and I had some time to kill. I'm sitting in the city square, and they have a big World War I and World War II memorial. Yeah. And I'm reading down there, and I read a name that was like on my mother's side of the family, and it was the name that they named my grandmother after. She took a man's name, Will Allen, and basically he was in the Olympics with Jesse Owens at the time.
Yep.
No one said a word about it my entire life. That we had an Olympic champion from right there in Mississippi.
With Jesse Owens in Berlin?
On that team.
Oh, my God. And no one ever knew it?
No in the family made any mention of it.
No pictures?
He moved to Louisiana when he came back, so no one talked about him.
Oh, my gosh. That's kind of weird.
He was a Hardin, Hardin, yeah.
Oh, I'll be darned. A couple quick things. We have actual newsy stuff. We'll get all to it here in a second. Mega Millions jackpot tonight, more than $1 billion.
God.
Fifth largest in history.
$1 billion. Of course, we get what? 500 million, maybe.
If you take it home, cash value is $527. About more than $500 million. Wait a minute. Take home is that's before taxes. But if you take the cash option, it's $500 million and take away that. So you'd still cash free. You'd walk away with at least $250 million cash. in your
I
pocket.
could probably squeak by.
I think I could get have the kids like me again for that. I'm pretty sure. I probably could find a girlfriend for that if I go up on that. And by the way, how much fun would that be to be up on that station? Well, it's too bad I don't have a good woman to share it with. me.
You know one of the first things I would do?
What's that?
I would get me a Jeeves. I would get me a valet, whatever you want to call it, that would handle all of the small details of life, like setting vacation plans or going to the store, doing everything, paying your bills. You wouldn't have to worry about any of that anymore. Jeeves, run me some water.
Yeah. But think about this. After you give money to your friends and you set up trust accounts for your family or kids if you ever married or whatever. After you've kind of done all that, if you have a valet guy to do everything else, when you get up in the morning and he's holding your shirt, pants, and underwear for you, and your shoes are over there polished, and he carries you to the breakfast table.
Yeah.
How are you going to? You go nuts. You'd go nuts.
No, I would not. I'd say, I'm thinking of going on vacation in a couple of weeks. Find me a nice place to go and handle it.
Well, I'll tell you, when I was retired down in Florida and I thought I had money before the banksters all got it from me and I lost a nest egg with that girl thing, it gets boring. After a while, you have to find things to do. After a time, I was retired for 5 years and I kept thinking, I kept trying to look for things to.
Could be like a greeter at Walmart.
Yeah, I'm just telling you, it's really. You'll be amazed, and so now I'm going to work till I die now. Because I got to try to rebuild the nest egg. I have to. But I had my retirement. I had a great 5 years and had my horse and then played golf 5 days, 6 days a week, whatever. So anyway, $1 billion. Holy smokeroonies.
I'd buy this valley and turn it into a dog farm.
Yeah, every dog would have a home. Or would have a place to play and have fun and, where there's a roaming ranch, or I'd buy freaking Montana or something. I don't know. It would work. Let's see. Oh, the light bulb thing. Have we heard about this? Once again, the Biden administration is now enforcing a nationwide ban on light bulbs unless you get the kind they want you to get. As of right now, the Department of Energy has told manufacturers and retailers they will no longer be able to sell incandescent and halogen light bulbs, which represent a stable size of they're the normal ones, the little goofy looking round ones. You have the incandescent, your regular light bulb you've had all your life, and instead manufacturers and retailers have to start selling light emitting diode, or LED, that's what it stands for, light emitting diode alternatives, or risk a federal penalty. And so Republican leaders are saying it's impossible for these freaking Democrats to leave us alone. He's continuing to push liberal fantasies through his weaponizing federal agencies. The Department of Energy should be focused on American energy independence, not what light bulbs you can buy. And incidentally, remember Flounder when I brought over an LED bulb to your place because we were doing our podcast at your place, and it was kind of dark. You had one of those overhead lamps with a fan on it, and the bulbs. I think it called for 2 or 3 bulbs, and you only had one in there. It was kind of dull. So I brought you the LED, and you put it in. So, oh man, that's way too. It was way too bright. They're a totally different look. Light. What? I heard a clock.
Light.
A quick light. Anyway, so apparently and I didn't know that. I find this hard to believe. This article I have here says about 50% of people are using LEDs already.
Well, what are the blind people going to do?
15% use mostly incandescent or halogens. And the rule became last year. They reversed a Trump administration rule sought to protect incandescent light bulbs and allow consumers to pick the one you want, which seems reasonable to me. For crying out loud, this is just overreach. Here we go again. And by the way, as you know, the Energy Department is now unveiling new standards for gas stoves, clothes washers, refrigerators, dishwashers, water heaters, and air conditioners. And if you don't have the right ones, you're not going to be able to buy anything else. Here we go. They're taking over, 4:13, and we got more coming up here. The influencer and the vegan diet. Oh, baby, look out. Here we go, 4:13. Da-da-da-da-da-da. How you doing? It's only me. It's only the Kimmer. Yeah, I'm right. Okay. Now what now? Too much, right? All right. That's Def Leppard. All right. I just can't understand a word. 418. On this day, 1980, Def Leppard made their U.S. live debut when they appeared at the New York City concert opening for AC/DC. And Def Leppard singer Joe Elliott was celebrating his 21st birthday on this day in 1980, so he's now 64. And Def Leppard. Da-da-da-da-da-da. All right, I know this song. Yeah. I don't know what the words are, but it's decent music.
Well, it's amazing because they're German.
Is that right? I have no idea.
Yeah.
I did not know
English,
that.
yeah.
By the way, on this day in history, and this is from today, on 1929, the greedy sadist Thomas Edison holds a contest to pick his next 49 proteges. The statewide contest in West Orange County, New Jersey, was depicting his next 49 genius proteges for his team. The tough exam questions included knowledge about science, geography, history, chemistry, and personal ethics. The questions Thomas Edison asked of the potential newcomers included, 1, if a lie is permissible, and if you would choose to become successful at the loss of happiness and comfort and reputation, pride, honor, health, money, or love. Would you become successful and give up all the rest of that? Another question. Among the extensive and penetrating questions asked was this one: what new discovery or invention do you believe would be the greatest benefit to mankind? His other questions included, have you ever wanted to electrocute an elephant for fun and profit? And how fast can you use a magnifying glass to fry ants or butterflies on a hot summer day? So he had the whole thing covered there pretty much. Thomas Edison right there. Yeah. Torturer. Man was an animal torturer. I'm sorry. He was an animal torturer. He deliberately for money tried to prove that DC was better, so he tortured a freaking elephant on AC current to say, you can't trust AC current, so give me your money. I mean, it's as simple as that. And he killed a magnificent, beautiful girl elephant and just the video, I can't get the freaking video out of my head. You see her shaking and mumbling, and boom, here you go. He electrocuted an elephant to make money, to show that he should get more money than the other guy. You know, God, freaking psychos, man. Anyway, whatever. That's a good side. I don't even know where I am here. What am I doing?
Got off on our elephant.
I don't know. Let's see. I got a lot of hunter crap. I don't care.
You were
about
talking
that.
about the vegan death, I think.
Oh yeah. In fact, this is really now. My daughter Jennifer is.
So is this considered an animal segment?
It could be an animal. Oh, Oh, by the way, wait a minute. I totally forgot. We could do that here. We haven't done any Flounders Funny. Have you got Flounders Funnies in here today?
I think I got something in here, yeah.
All right. Well, in fact, let's do that now, and we'll talk about the vegan girl and why it's a danger warning to my daughter. I'm going to call her about it later on today. Here's a little Flounders Funnies if we have an opportunity.
All right. This is a guy by the name of Paul Versel, and he does something you probably won't. You don't do a lot of Uber driving, but this is a funny bit about Uber drivers.
All right, sir.
But just put things into perspective, didn't it? Life got put into perspective. At least for me, it did. COVID put things into perspective for me. Like, I cut things out of my life that don't make sense. Like, I'm done talking to the Uber driver. I don't do it anymore. Because I'm too nice of a guy, so I would get in too deep with the conversation. You ever have that happen? You start with a small pleasantry, then you find yourself in some long, you're like, hey man, how you doing today? The Uber driver's like, well, in my country right now. You're like, yeah, dude, I didn't mean it. I don't give a matter of fact, there's a lot of things going on in my country right now, okay? So how about you give me a piece of candy and let me close my eyes for 10 minutes. I'm already pissed off. I'm going to LaGuardia.
That sounds like the little gay guy from Sex and the City actor. What's his name? I wonder if that's the guy. It sounds just like
never seen Sex in the City.
Well, he used to hang around. He used to hang around with what's her name, the little blonde girl. Jessica.
The short Puerto Rican guy.
Yeah,
I know you're talking about. But I don't think it's him. I don't think it's him.
Not.
Sounds like him.
Anyway, pretty funny. And I saw a phone ring a minute ago. But here's our phone number if you want. We love phone calls. 404-741-1230. 741-1230. And we'd love to talk to you. And again, if you want to look at that optical illusion, it's on Twitter and our the Kimmer Show, kimmershow.net. The picture of either a cloud or a fish, and depending on what you see, it determines whether you have a chance at long-term compatibility with a lover, apparently. So, among other things, if you want to get in on that. Now, this influencer thing, I'm a little nervous about this because my daughter Jennifer is a vegan, and I mean, I don't think it's like 100%, but close. Well, there's an influencer. Again, here we go, influencers. There's an influencer known as Zana Dart on social media. She was on a tour of Southeast Asia. Her friends claim she started seeking medical help because she started feeling badly. A few months ago in Sri Lanka, her friend said she looked exhausted, swollen legs, oozing lymph. They sent her home to seek treatment. I live a floor above her every day. I feared finding her lifeless body. Her diet, she is an influencer on diets of vegan. And her exclusive diet was exotic fruits, seeds, and juices. And sunflower seeds, sprouts, fruit smoothies, juices. And her mother says her death was caused by a cholera-like infection weakened by her vegan diet.
Yep.
Others have insisting the chemicals in the fruit she ate were the main cause. Although in last year, a vegan diet led to the death of a young boy, like a 2-year-old boy in Florida, and the jury convicted his mother of first-degree murder and manslaughter and child abuse for child neglect. The boy's diet consisted, again, it was like a little, not quite 2 years old. The boy's diet consisted of raw fruits and vegetables and breast milk. He weighed 17 pounds at the time he died. 3 other kids were also suffering from malnourishment on this freaking vegan stuff. You know, I'm sure if we only ate, fruits and nuts and vegetables, I mean, not just juice and stuff like that, but if we ate a lot of fruits and a lot of nuts and a lot of vegetables, you probably would be fairly healthy. But if you limit yourself to these freak things, you're taking it's not worth it.
You need protein.
Exactly. That's why I say, most vegetarian, not vegan, but vegetarian diets are heavy in nuts. And, I've had friends who were vegetarians and they eat freaking walnuts and almonds and
these nuts.
It's unbelievable. These nut people, and they, that's figs and stuff like that. And have you seen the video of the human bear in China and the zoo? They're talking, it's all over social media. In China, zoo in eastern China has a bunch of what they call sun bears, S-U-N, Malayan sun bears. And Malayan sun bears stand on their back legs. And there's video that's gone around with millions and millions of views of a bear in this zoo in China looking like a human in a fursuit. It's a 15-second clip. Whether they're saying no, that's not a bear, that's a human, because the bears are apparently becoming extinct, and so they're afraid that they may not have any more. So the conspiracy is that they're dressing up young people in bear suits so they can go and play with a crowd. But the clip shows this bear standing on his hind legs and acting like a person. And they see the folds of fur on the body looking like a human with an ill-fitting piece of clothing. Yeah. The bears stand like humans. They walk like humans. According to the experts, they're very human-like. Sun bear mothers carry their babies with their hands and walk on their hind legs.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a human in disguise. No, it's a bear. It looks like a human, but it's a bear. And by the way, in China, it's 110 degrees. A guy in a fursuit would not last long in the summertime in this China zoo. Plus, they're small. They're only like 4 feet tall, as opposed to 5 or 6 feet tall or whatever. But anyway, people are saying, no, it's a human in a bear suit. But if you look at the video, it really is amazing. And they walk on their hind legs.
last week, there was a film out that showed a bunch of bears, maybe sun bears, and they're sitting around doing bear stuff, right?
Yeah.
And in the background, you see one of them, like Yogi Bear, walking on his hind legs with something under his arm, like a lunch pail, and he's leaving. He walks behind him and leaves. The caption was, "All right, my shift's over. See you guys tomorrow."
Oh, I love it. 427. By the way, speaking of, we got a little animal story here. And incidentally, we have Pete's tweets and Sky. We have a Skynet update there, Pete, of any
Yes,
kind?
sir.
Okay,
Yes, we do.
We'll get to that, too. Plus, Holy Crap at Sports and all this good stuff. And while we're just floundering around here, speaking of animals, and sort of a side animal story, you may have heard the case of the famous gang young thug trial where the guy's name is actually Jeffrey Williams. By the way, how'd you like to be on trial, for like a murderous gang leader? Your name is Jeffrey. Jeffrey.
President.
Now, Jeffrey, you stop that. Anyway, young thug. He says he's a rapper. They say he's the head of a gang. A young slime life, what you're calling. Anyway, the things, a bunch of his gangbangers have already pleaded guilty, and this whole thing going on. Well, there's a motion now in trial. One of the lawyers is all upset because the prosecutor wants to introduce evidence that was taken during an arrest at this guy's house, although he wasn't there. But the arrest at the house of the gangbangers showed the police cameras, and while they went in to make their arrest, they could see an animal sacrifice with a goat. They were sacrificing a goat in this guy religious ceremony, sacrificing a goat in this guy's house.
Santeria.
And so the prosecutor wants to put that in evidence to the trial and say, well, these are the kind of people these are. And the defense guy saying, whoa, you can't show that to the jury. They're all a bunch of freaking perverts, and of course they're going to convict them by just looking at that kind of stuff. So we'll see. I don't think they've made a determination yet, but they're trying to bar it from evidence. So we will find out whether it be unfairly influencing the jury against all the people, even though they claim that this one young guy wasn't there. And it shouldn't make a difference whether it's a religious sacrifice. And hold everything. It's we got a phone call. We got a break in 4 seconds.
We can.
We got time.
Yeah.
Here's Edward. Edward's on the phone with Kimber, Pete, and Flounder and Nuna. Hey, Edward, how's it going? Welcome, sir.
Hello, man. Thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
I'm doing good. It's a little warm, but I'm doing okay.
Yes, sir.
That was West Orange, New Jersey, and that is in Essex County. Very minor point.
Okay. All right, sir.
Okay. Now, one other thing.
Yeah.
You were talking about Agent Orange.
Yeah.
We were?
Well, some time ago. Yeah. The other day. Yeah.
Yeah, right. The VA has a registry that you can sign up. What makes you think you were exposed to it?
Well, I already signed up. I've already been eligible. They knew I was signed up. I did this when I was down in Florida when I retired in 2008 or 9 or something. And I've already signed up for it. They lost my paperwork. I've signed up again. They say I've qualified. So now I have to go get some medical stuff to examine me to see how bad the damage has been and stuff like that. So it's been approved. I just have to now go. They're putting me through the rigmarole. They're requiring things I don't have, but it's all done and taken care of. I have been authorized, that it has been legit, and now they have to find out the damage. So that's what we're running to at the time. It's only taken 8 months for my exam.
I don't want to get too personal, but didn't you have a prostate issue?
Yeah, from Agent Orange.
Oh, well, that's a no-brainer. That's an automatic.
Yeah, right, exactly. Yeah.
Thanks.
Okay. Well,
right.
Good luck with that.
Thank you, Edward. I appreciate it. Yes, sir. Again, it was kind of. I've been talking. Well, the subject comes up occasionally, but I'm dealing with the VA. And in fact, next week, one of the days we're off next week, I'm going to be going to get some medical testing and stuff to see how much they can try to screw me over after 20 years. 4:31. Time for the 4:29 break here with the Kimber and Pete. Look at. I just got a text from Pete. Did you get it too? And all it says is smooth. I think the man's being sarcastic. I can't imagine. I've been smooth today. I've been up all night. I don't know what's the matter with me, but it's going to be better in a minute.
Next time you do a commercial, it might be helpful to have the phone number.
Well, I always, it's 470 area, and almost never. When's the last time you used the area code 470? I mean, never. I automatically want to say 404 or 770. So I catch myself, and I thought, oh crap, I'm going to say the wrong one. So it's for anyway, Metro Atlanta Roofing and Remodeling. This is George Harrison, 1971 on this day, the concert for Bangladesh, organized by George to aid victims of famine and war in Bangladesh, was at New York's Madison Square Garden. It featured Bob Dylan, Ringo, Billy Preston, Eric Clapton, Ravi Shankar, and members from Badfinger. George Harrison had to shell out his own money to maintain the fund after legal problems froze all the proceeds. What were the legal problems? I don't remember that.
Who knows?
The triple album released second in a row by Harrison hit number 1 in Britain, number 2 in America, and got the Grammy Award for Album of the Year. That was 1971 Bangladesh concert by George Harrison. On this day in 1971, also same day, the Sonny and Cher Comedy Hour debuted on CBS. This was the time when Sonny and Cher had stopped kind of making hit records. They were really hadn't had anything come out in a couple of years, so they started going on the road and doing tours. And I forgot whether it was Fred Silverman or somebody. I forgot. Now somebody saw them in the audience and said, "Hey, you guys are pretty good. Let's put you on your own TV show." And by God, they got their own TV show in 1971. And then, of course, Sonny went skiing and killed himself January 1998, slamming into a tree.
Yeah, George of the Jungle impression.
I almost killed myself. I told the story at Aspen. And I was there with my girlfriend who died on me, and she had a little chalet thing. And in the last run of the day, and again, I was, I'm not a great skier. I'm not an expert skier. I'm an intermediate skier. I haven't skied in years, but I used to be. But I like to go swishing and swishing, big long turns, and I go from the top of the mountain right down to the bottom. I don't stop and fool around and get lunch. So I go up to the top, down to the bottom, up to the top, down to the bottom. The last run of the day, I said, I'm going to go down shushing. I'm going to try to do downhill. I'm going to try to go down as far as I can, straight down the freaking mountain. Again, it wasn't the expert trail. It was this, it was Aspen, so it was a big run. And I got up there, and about a third of the way down, I was totally out of control. Absolutely had no control over my skis, and I went swerving off to the right and slammed into a snowbank, and I hit it so hard it knocked me out, knocked my skis off my boots, and I lost my poles, went into the snowbank so far I couldn't find them. I literally could not reach into the holes my arms made into the snowbank to find my poles, and it knocked me out. I mean, I could have been killed. I mean, I see what happens. I lost totally lost control. I could not. I mean, I was just, I was going so freaking fast, and it doesn't take much if you're not. I mean, obviously, I was an Olympic, muscle leg, qualification. So anyway, I scared the crap out of me. I'll tell you that.
Ski out of control story. August 1st.
Yeah, I got to write that down now. It's 2023, so I get another 9 years. I can tell it again. I think. Yeah, I'll be running 9 years probably.
Hey, I got a question for you. All
right, sure, yes, please. Yeah,
you talk about the vegan and all that stuff and everything.
Yeah.
Have either of you guys ever eaten a dragon fruit?
I don't know what. I think I may have heard the phrase, but I don't really know what that is.
I have not.
They have them in Ingles and Kroger and Publix. They're this weird fruit, and it's got kind of tentacles hanging out of it, like it's kind of an eyeball octopus.
No, the answer's no right now.
But I saw somebody cut one up the other day and give it to a monkey, and it looks like it's a watermelon inside.
And what's it called again?
A dragon fruit.
Dragon fruit.
Yeah, it's a funky-looking alien-type thing that every grocery store has them.
I've never heard of it. I've never seen it.
Talking myself out of getting it every time I go there. I'm suddenly thinking about that.
Well, I mean, just it has tentacles on it and an eye.
Yeah,
that's like the first guy who ate a lobster or a clam. Imagine opening a clam and sucking out that mucousy-looking thing.
Sucking the snot out.
Yeah, oysters. I don't think so. Yowie. Did you hear about... hold on. We have a phone call. It's Steve. It's Steve. Hello, Steve. Welcome aboard. You're on the radio, man. What's going on?
Hey, Cameron.
Yeah.
Last week there was a report on the show about the fact that Ukraine couldn't export grain because their rails are Russian rails and they're narrower.
Yeah, different size, apparently.
Yeah, and what it is, I buddy of mine went over there 3 times, and it's closer together, and you have to control the load on it, or it'll tip over like Guam when the Marines went there.
Yeah, right. According to our congressman from Pete Stone Mountain District.
I did some research on that. They got this thing. They don't export all of their grain to the Black Sea. There's this thing called a bogie, which fits under the freight cars and can adjust when every country to the west of Ukraine is on the European rail, which means you could, and even Romania is one of those countries which has access to the Black Sea.
Yeah.
But 3 countries, you can just pull up there and this thing will flip the things and you just keep on going. And so I say, instead of F-16s, let's send them more of those damn things, because they're going to say they're starving to death in the world, the world's hungry, but that's totally bogus.
Yeah. Well, listen, I appreciate that, Steve. I had no idea, man. Thank you.
Actually,
Actually,
here's the problem.
Yeah.
Poland and Romania also have wheat they want to sell. And the Ukrainians bringing theirs over is like dumping the Ukrainian onto their market, which doesn't help them a bit, so they don't like that. So that doesn't help the situation at all either, because they're not real happy about that. And the problem is, if Ukraine doesn't get their wheat out, places like Egypt begin to starve. And last time that happened, we had the Arab uprising. Remember that a few years ago?
Yeah.
The Arab Spring?
Yeah.
And Egypt will have to find food from other places, and they're not alone. There's a lot of places that depend on Ukraine. It's like the biggest wheat exporter, one of the top 3 in the world, which means people are going to start running out of wheat if they can't get their wheat out.
I still don't understand how this even started and why it's still going on.
I tell you exactly what it is. The Russians think they're in an existential fight for their very lives. And the only way they can survive is to plug the gap in Poland and plug the 2 gaps in Ukraine to keep an invading army from marching in like Napoleon did and Hitler did, and has been done over and over from Poles and Swedes and everybody. They always come through the same places. And the Russians, like when they had Eastern Europe and the Iron Curtain, they had those holes plugged. Well, they don't now, and they think they need those back.
Well,
which means they're not going to quit.
Yeah.
That's the thing. They're not going to quit.
Well, but what started this? I mean, who was making the inroads to say, boy, Russia better watch out because they're about to be invaded? What was the possible evidence that he's in any danger of whatsoever? They've always had a strong link with the communist Chinese. It's not like somebody's just going to start dropping bombs on Moscow.
Well, no, not right now. But in the past, they've had trouble from everybody, and they're thinking they're going to have trouble in the future. It's no excuse for what they're doing. Yeah, but NATO has been pushing eastward, and to them, that freaks them out.
Yeah. Well, I guess so. Got 4:45. All right. Well, we got to break thing. We'll do some more stuff on the Hunter Biden stuff. Also, how about coming up in a second? How about a little either Pete's tweets or the Skynet? What do you want to do? Whatever makes you happy.
Whatever makes you happy.
Pete's tweets. Pete's tweets coming up next. It's 4:45. Good meeting. Yeah.
Our leadership has shown weakness, and I think that people, China threatening Taiwan, none of this happened when Trump was president.
Right.
He even stopped a missile, North Korea from firing missiles. Now they're going back to that. I think our weak leadership has had a lot to do with the problems we see internationally.
Well, remember, it was Donald Trump called the North Korean dictator Rocket Man. I mean, my God, the guy wasn't about to start something with Trump. He's calling him Rocket Man. He's not afraid of you. I mean, my God.
Well, Putin didn't invade Ukraine under Trump either.
That's right.
China wasn't bothering Taiwan.
Yeah.
Nobody. Trump had respect, but Biden has no respect.
Yeah, and again, it's the mean tweets, and he's still living in the liberals' heads. And that Afghanistan withdrawal, I don't even want to start on that. Every one of those military leaders should have been busted down to rank of private and court-martialed and stripped and given a dishonorable freaking discharge for what they did to America and those. Well, I mean,
Amen.
Yeah.
I agree, 100%.
Yeah, unreal. Philip, thank you, man. I really do appreciate it. It's good to know that there are people who still, keeping an eye on what's going on around here, and we are very grateful. 452. Here's the number: 404-741-1230. 741-1230. And speaking of the Hunter thing, a couple of quick takeaways. Hunter's business partner. Oh, this is amazing. I heard the liberals, and we'll get a couple of sound bites here coming up, including from MSNBC. But first, the liberals are now saying, among other things, well, we knew he was involved. He was talking with the son. That doesn't mean he's getting any money from him. You can't prove anything he did anything about it, or he changed any policies. And then they're saying, well, the fact of the matter is you can't prove that President White Trash actually got anything. Hunter was selling the appearance of influence. He was selling the possibility of some kind of influence that wasn't really real. It was, in fact, it was like false influence. Well, if that's the case, then he's guilty of fraud. It's a crime either way.
Yep.
I mean, am I wrong? It's a crime. If you are getting money in return for people thinking your father's going to help me get my business going, then you're selling the product is the influence by the vice president or now president. And if you are giving it to him, but it's not real, then you have faked him. You've gotten money for a fakery.
It doesn't matter if you deliver or not. You said you would. You sold us out.
Or you made
treason.
A contract. Yep, that's right. And when they can find that, they've got to find the money link. When they find the money link,
the money, man.
It's over.
If they don't say anything more about the money, it's all the uniparty being BSing us again.
Yeah. Well, I mean, but again, there's more and more coming out. We still haven't seen the full transcript of what he said. But President Showers with daughters always said he's never talked with his son about anything. I mean, it's just such lies, just absolute lies. Bragged about getting rid of the prosecutor. That was one of the main things in this hearing also. And Marjorie Taylor Greene says we're ready to impeach. We'll see if the House has the balls to do it.
Why was it a closed hearing?
I think because they weren't sure whether it was going to be sensitive testimony that might have been, required.
For who? For the Bidens?
No, for the public. That the American public shouldn't be hearing possible secret testimony of security clearance stuff or something. I don't know.
I'm sorry. I think that's complete BS.
I don't know.
I
don't have an answer. I don't have an answer.
We should be able to hear what's went on. We should be able to see what's going on. We should already have the transcript out. Why are they being so secretive when it comes to the Bidens?
Well, but again, they're only being secretive for the public. They're not being secretive for the truth and for the history. So it's there in black and white, and we're getting it. In fact, let's play. What's his name? Jim Jordan. Flounder, if you would, sir. We'll get a little Jim Jordan here talking about his biggest concerns that came out of the hearing with a Burisma link to the White House. This is Congressman Jim Jordan linking the Burisma to the White House.
Sorry, my Vox Pro just froze up.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm sorry. No, it's fine.
Pull it on Twitter.
It doesn't matter.
But here's the thing. We shouldn't be having to wait to Jim Jordan to tell us, or Comer or Goldman to tell us and give us their opinion on it. Let us see it and hear it in real time.
Well, again, there may be a legal reason. There may be that the House has rules for the song. I don't know. I don't think it's duplicitous since it's all going to come out. I mean, we're going to tell us what is in.
I disagree. I think it's totally duplicitous. Anytime they're trying to keep when the sun can't shine in, bad things happen in the dark.
Well, it's shining. I mean, they're telling us what he said.
And this government, I don't trust it for 1 second because they've lied to us
that's a whole nother. Well, that's a whole nother. Nobody trusts the government anymore. But if we can get the word for word what he said, then I feel a lot better about that.
Reading something is not the same as seeing someone say it.
I agree. I totally agree. Everything should be the sunshine laws. But okay. All right, now, and hold on. John's on the phone too. Get right to you. So here's Jim Jordan now about the hearing.
Says they're having a board meeting in Dubai on December 4th, 2015. After the board meeting, Hunter Biden meets with Devin Archer, Zolochevsky, and Pizarski, the two key guys who run Burisma. They meet for drinks. During that meeting, they say, we need the U.S. government to intervene. We're under pressure from the prosecutor. We're facing pressure in Great Britain because they've sanctioned and seized our assets, $23 million in Britain. We need some help. They make a phone call to D.C. Mr. Archer, I don't know who they called, but they called D.C. And 5 days later, December 9th, 2015, Joe Biden is in Ukraine and he gives a speech starting the pressure on the prosecutor in Ukraine. 5 days after that meeting, 5 days after a phone call to D.C., 5 days where they used the Biden brand, according to what we learned today, the Biden brand was the value Hunter Biden brought to this business arrangement. That took place simply 5 days later.
The brand was Joe, wasn't it?
And then, of course, we know. Yeah, the brand was totally Joe Biden, the guy with the power and the connections in D.C. But 5 days after that, this conversation takes place, this speech takes place, and then a few months later, that clip you just played, Shokin gets fired.
Yeah, bragging that he fired the guy who was looking into his son's scandalous behavior.
And that by itself should have got him kicked out as the vice president.
Right, absolutely. To the phones quickly, John, before the break. Hey, John, thank you for calling. Welcome. You're on the radio, sir.
Hi, Timmer. I can answer Pete's question about why was it behind closed doors.
Okay.
And it's just like Pete said, they didn't want us to see it.
Yeah, because the Bidens were so crooked.
Won't release the transcript.
Yeah, because the family's so crooked and so scandalous. That they're deadbeats and they're trying to screw the country.
The star witness for the Republicans.
Yeah. Well, it's not for the Republicans; it's for the country. He wasn't testifying for the Republicans. He was testifying for America. He was a liberal. In fact, wait, hold on. He's a liberal who was a friend of Hunter Biden. He's a liberal. He's a Democrat. He's not a MAGA guy. He's the one who letting the light shine on what's going on with the crime family. He's a liberal. He's Hunter's liberal guy. He's not a MAGA guy.
Okay. Well, that guy who testified, he said that. Not once, not one single time did he ever talk with Joe Biden about business. Did he ever hear Joe Biden say anything about business deals? Not once.
But again, remember, Joe Biden never talked with his son about anything. Oh, my God. Nice try, Joe, John, Emerald.
He keeps on calling back. He must love this show.
Different name. Well, he keeps trying. God bless him, I
mean, he's a P1.
Yeah, talk to you tomorrow. 5 o'clock. Pete's coming up. Look out. Let's get it together, ladies. Want to hail them in that sucking wind. Left shoulder. Right a blank. Ready on your dog. Target. Road guards out. Look out. It's only me. It's only the Kimmer. Silly rabbit 504. How's it going? It's 106.3 with Pete Davis and Flounder and intern new Nick back there. Nice to have you aboard. Phone number 404-741-1230. 741-1230. A lot of stuff coming up. First of all, a quick note in history today.
Today or yesterday?
Well, let's do today. Today's history. I got to get my phone. Hold on, I got my phone here. Oh, Flounder sent me a message. What was your message? Let's see what Flounder's got a message. What was it? Oh, is this an email?
The guy who called earlier had an update on the Ukraine rail gauge.
Excellent. Okay. You want to tell us what it is? Well, I've got my other thing here, too, I was going to mention. Up to Daisy. Hold on. No, why can't I find? Wait a minute. I got it. I swear to God. Wait a minute. I got it. I wrote it down. Here it is. I found it. I just got to get where are my things? Here we go. No, it's good. We're all good. I swear to God. Man, you don't want to be me. Okay, it was on this day. I got it. Swear to God. Pull up. Dive. 1941 on this day. The Willis Truck Company introduced just what the Army wanted, a quick, lightweight, all-terrain vehicle for Hill and Dale, the Jeep. Where did they get the name Jeep, you ask? Or maybe you didn't ask. Well, it may have been a variation of the word cheap, which was a reference to the low cost of the thing. That's probably not the real reason. That's one explanation. Could be an abbreviation for the expression Jeepers, which was used with the U.S. Army General George Lynch took the first bouncy road off-road test drive in the prototype of the Jeep, and he was screaming, Jeepers! And that may be an explanation why they called it. Also, Jeep also stands for Just Enough Essential Parts. Another derivative could be the initials GP, which is general purpose. GP for Jeep and so forth. Anyway, it predates the famous 4x4 years before. And in a cartoon in 1936, a guy introduced Eugene the Jeep in a comic book. So I don't know what that's all about. Anyway,
Popeye has it.
And I owned a Jeep once. I had a Jeep. I had one of the 4-door Safari or whatever it called, something or other. So all the big head, the 2 roofs and all that kind of crap. Anyway, gave it to my daughter.
Steve McQueen, when I was over flying the Spitfire, they had Steve McQueen's old Jeep. And the gas tank was underneath the driver's seat.
That can't be good.
Ejection seat.
Yikes. Anyway, coming up, we got a bunch of sound bites we'll hear in case you just joined us on the Hunter Biden thing, a couple of updates. We're not going to spend the whole hour on it, but we'll be talking about that stuff. Also, in case you missed it, school's open. I'll bet you're noticing. In fact, I wonder if you're noticing in traffic right now. If you're driving, in fact, if you can make a phone call, if you're noticing any big difference, today's the first day of school for Atlanta, Cherokee, Cobb, Decatur, and Rockdale schools. Tomorrow, Buford, Clark, Clayton, Douglas, Gwinnett, Henry, Marietta, and Oconee, and then Fayette and Forsyth on Thursday, DeKalb and Fulton on the 7th. Hey, guys, how's it going? How are you? Good to see you. The whole crew out there looking through the window. So I'll bet you've noticed that traffic is different at this point for good. Now, also, if you haven't seen the video, I put it on Rumble and my YouTube and Facebook thing. Driving in today, right where you turn in to come into our parking lot, our parking garage, the street collapsed from the heat. There's like a 4-foot round literally the tar collapsed like 8 inches down, and you can I took the video in my car and you can see the car bouncing through this hole because it melted. The road melted. And that's why they were concerned about the heat at the ball game. They're having special water stations and all kinds of stuff at the ballpark right now this week because they were afraid of the heat and stuff. So anyway, and it melted the freaking road. You can see it right through the window. You can see it actually melting. You can see the car bouncing. Anyway. We got tweets. We got Pete. We got treats. We also got Flounders Funnies. We got Skynet. We got all kinds of crap. And it's 508. So we got Pete. We got tweets. We got Pete's tweets.
I don't know what I'm looking forward to more.
Yeah.
Another episode of Your Drive Home. Or you getting people to call up and tell us about their drive home.
In fact, I took a new route this morning. It put me on a whole new route this morning.
Oh, God. Stop it.
I know I can't stop. All
right. Stefan Facebook. Booked a doctored photo of an astronaut in space holding up a sign that read, "I see no God up here."
Oh, wait a minute. Now, who did that?
It was an astronaut put up a sign that says, "I see no God up here." And Xavier responded, "Take off your helmet, then you'll see him."
Wow. That's kind of dicey.
Fun things to do during the summer in Georgia. You just mentioned, avoid the melted streets,
well,
have a heat stroke, get bit by a water moccasin, sweat, get sucked into a tornado, run from wasps, step in a fire anthill, fall into the sticker bushes in your front yard, watch your groceries melt from the grocery store to your house, get second-degree sunburn, and fist fight mosquitoes.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. That's my summer.
I had to run home the other day. I got ice for the ice cream maker machine, and I had to just fly home because it was melting.
Yeah, I believe it.
Kroger in Tennessee now has self-checkout only. No cashiers, no baggers. Who's going to go get the carts from the parking lot?
They've got at the Kroger in Alpharetta, go north past Old Milton or whatever. You go north, and that Kroger up as you go north, it's on your left. They have like one aisle open, and all the rest of it is on. You do your own. It's unbelievable.
Who gets the carts? The management?
I don't know what they're doing.
I don't know. Scientists found a 46,000-year-old worm frozen in the Siberian permafrost.
Ah, yes.
They've thawed it out, brought it back to life, and now it's having babies.
Oh, now, wait a minute.
Do you want Godzilla? Because this is how you get Godzilla.
Yeah. What if there's, like the genes inside? How many years old is this thing? How many million?
46,000.
46,000 years. Yeah, we had dinosaurs back then, didn't we, or didn't we?
No,
I didn't.
So.
We probably had some unusual creatures, though.
Mammoths or something like that. By the way, they also found a 36,000-year-old Siberian wolf head, and it's intact. So they're going to get DNA from it.
Wow, make some
dire wolves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How cool would that be? If they take the what's the sap from trees that has the mosquitoes in it that has the DNA of dinosaur
resin and
the resin and but there's another name.
Resin and amber.
Amber. Yeah. I love it.
Liberal director Oliver Stone, who gave us Platoon and JFK, among other films, says he's made a mistake when he voted for Biden. Says Biden is going to start World War III.
That may not be true, but I'm glad that he's now seen the light. We'll take whatever the reason is. You want to stop voting for that guy, we'll take it. Anything.
There were 26 families on the Mayflower known to have left descendants. From these 26 families, how many Americans can trace their ancestry back to these original 26?
How many current Americans in the family tree can trace this? Well, wow, got to be 100 million, probably.
100 million? Flounder, what do you think?
200 million.
All right, it's 30 billion. So.
Oh, no.
Both of you can just.
Well, by the way, I remember when the Mayflower Madam, Beryl Bidney Bowes, or whatever her name was, something Bidney Bowes, and she was a member. Her family came over on the Mayflower, and she was a famous madam, and that was the first time I talked about a family linked in a rather unfortunate way to the Mayflower originators. Just for the record.
Morbid Knowledge tweets, in 2001, a U.S. Navy submarine performed an emergency ballast blow maneuver to impress the civilians on board. The blow surfaced at a high speed directly underneath a Japanese ship, cutting it in half and killing 9 people on board.
Oh, wow. How impressive. Oh.
Yeah. And ever heard of a 3-person coffin?
A 3-person coffin? No, I have not.
It was made for a Colorado family in the 1930s whose baby had died. Grief-stricken, they planned to commit suicide and be buried all together in the same coffin, but they decided not to go through with it, so the coffin went unused. You may see it at the National Museum of Funeral History outside of Houston, Texas.
Good grief.
Yeah. Yeah. And Liberty Cappy tweets, here's a survival tip. If you ever get lost in the woods, start talking about taxation. A random libertarian will show up to argue with you.
Follow him out.
And that's tweet.
I love it. To the phones. Got a couple of calls. A quick break coming up, and let's get to Jacob on the phone. Jacob, thanks for calling. You're on the radio. Welcome, sir.
Hey, man.
Yes, sir.
Hey, Donald Trump's PAC raised $45 million.
Yeah. Okay.
And they've spent now, they only have $4 million left. They spent it on Donald's lawyers. If you're a Trump supporter, I don't care what you got to do. Take a second job, take a mortgage.
Yeah.
You need to give Donald more money. He's got to pay his lawyers.
Yeah, he's got to have
You're
money.
not giving enough.
Man's broke.
You got to work harder.
Yeah.
Prices are up 16% since Biden took over. 16%.
That's why. Yeah, there you go. All right, Jacob, thank you. I appreciate it. I was thinking about it. And here's quickly to Bill. Hello, Bill. You're on the radio. How's it going?
Hey, Kimmer.
Yes, sir.
I want to tell you, I'm an 88-year-old Navy veteran.
Semper Fi and hoorah and ship ahoy there, my friend. Yep.
And I used to listen to you on the radio when I worked for a living.
Yes, sir.
And it never failed to make me feel great in the afternoon to hear you on the radio. I want to tell you, one of the funniest things that ever came out of your program was when the women were burning their bras. And you were talking to an Indian lady that kept calling you Kramer all the time. And I want to tell you, I was driving my truck home at the time. I want to tell you, anybody that had looked at the cab of my truck and seen the tears rolling down my cheeks and me guffawing over in the corner, falling out of the window, that was the funniest thing that I have ever heard in my entire life.
You had to be there, but thank you. No, that's very kind, Bill. Thank you so much. It's good to know you're out there, and we haven't lost it entirely. We're working on it, though. 5:15 already. A lot more coming up. Don't go away. Big ball game tonight, too. Look out with a Kibber and Gag here. Stand by. I can't find. Oh, here we go. I got a couple of sports things. Birthday, Yvonne Goolagong, the famous tennis Hall of Fame girl, 72 years old today. And now, the greatest podcaster around, and holy crap, it's sports with Pete Davis.
Well, the trade deadline is 6 o'clock. We're coming up on it pretty quick here, and the Braves have shored up the bullpen by getting veteran lefty Brad Hand from the Rockies for minor league right-hander Alex Barger, who is at AA Mississippi. Hand is 33 years old with a 4.54 earned run average this season in Colorado. So you always have to inflate it a little bit because Colorado. But the guy's been in World Series and all kinds of stuff, so he's been a closer and all-star 3 times. So pretty good addition right there.
Good.
Meanwhile, Mets starter Justin Verlander seems to be the main piece that teams are vying for, and now he's going back to Houston. The Mets have traded him to Houston to play for the Astros again.
I thought he was kind of having a bad year, isn't he? Showing his age, or was he doing well?
He's gotten better.
Oh,
it's
yeah?
Scherzer that's been really up and down. In fact, Scherzer just came out. They were talking on The Athletic. He basically talked to the Mets GM, and basically the Mets are giving up not only on this year, but next year.
Yeah.
They're going for 2025 and 26 is what they're aiming at. They're not even going to go big free agency in the next year or so.
Wow.
So they're rebuilding.
Yeah, I guess. They're denying it, but they're rebuilding,
No, they're doing it.
Yeah.
The Braves bats went silent as they lost game 1 of the 3-game set at home against the Halos last night. 4-1 the score. Charlie Morton falls to 10-9, but in the top of the ninth, center fielder Michael Harris II robbed Shohei Ohtani of a homer by bringing a ball back from over the fence. At least it kind of looked like it was going over the fence. Ohtani will not pitch during this series, and Matt Olson his home run number 36 for the only Braves run last night.
Wow.
Meanwhile, the Onion is talking about Shohei.
Okay.
After months of speculation over his playing future, baseball phenom Shohei Ohtani announced his plans to leave the Angels for a team in Major League Baseball. It's been an honor playing for the Angels, and I'll be sad to leave, but like many great foreign players before me, I want to see how well I stack up against the best players in the world by joining a Major League Baseball team. He added that if his transition to a Major League Baseball team doesn't pan out, he could always return to the Angels.
You know, it's amazing. With him and Mike Trout on the same team, and they have no chance.
Yeah, well, Trout never plays anymore. That's the problem with Trout.
Yeah.
Spencer Strider on the mound tonight, by the way.
Oh, good.
So that'll be fun to watch him up against Ohtani. Yankees manager Aaron Boone did not help his cause Monday night. He scratched starter Domingo Germán before the game with Tampa Bay, and then brought him in relief later when the Yankees were already losing 5-1.
Ooh.
So they're all over it. And by the way, Yankees have not made any moves so far, and there's what?
Wow.
30
minutes,
left.
yeah.
The Dodgers' private jet once had to make an emergency landing and asked if there was much of a delay. Don Drysdale said, nah, we only had to change a spark plug and 30 pairs of shorts. And I apologize beforehand. I can't remember how you pronounce this guy's name. Former Auburn football player Robert Shiver. His wife has been arrested in the Bahamas, an alleged plot to murder the ex-offensive lineman.
Yeah, I heard about that.
36-year-old Lindsay and 2 men were arrested after the police discovered they had made plans to kill Robert. And one of the men, Terrence Bethel, is reported to be Lindsay's lover.
Aha.
Police learned of the plot, which was unsuccessful, thankfully.
So you can do that?
They investigated a break-in at a bar in Guanacaste, somewhere in Baja. They say the plan was detailed in WhatsApp messages they discovered while checking on the break-in.
Just send messages to each other so that the police can look up later. Yeah, that's pretty smart.
I want you to kill my husband. I want you to kill all the gophers.
Where's he going to be?
Oh, my God. Now, this is pretty funny. Here's my favorite line in the whole thing. Robert and Lindsay are reportedly estranged. Really? So I can give you a clue there. I don't know.
The murder.
Former West Virginia and NFL wide receiver Randy Moss has opened a new restaurant in Philadelphia called Chick-a-Boom. What do you think he serves at the Chick-a-Boom?
Got to be chicken.
Well, that's one of them. What's the other thing?
Boom. Kind of. Well, I don't know. I can't imagine.
Well, last night had the chicken and waffles thing going.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like that. Chicken and
chicken and biscuits.
Close.
Chicken and corn on the cob. I don't know.
No. It's got to be something on the line of waffles.
Chicken and pancakes.
No.
Chicken and no biscuits, no pancakes.
French toast.
Close.
Chicken.
Going.
Oh my! Well, what else is there? French bread, Italian bread,
Krispy Kreme
donuts, chicken and donuts,
chicken and donuts.
Oh no!
Oh, please, I'm there. First, you go to Waffle House at 4 a.m. when you're drunk, and then you go next door to the Chicken Boom and get your dessert.
You know, I have never had an order of chicken and waffles ever.
Oh, it's good. It's good stuff, Maynard.
Well, but if I have waffles, I put a lot of butter on it and brown sugar and syrup. And I don't want that in my chicken.
Is that salted butter or unsalted?
Yeah, salted. Got to go salted. And by the way, I'm going to update you on the butter and the match thing, too. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, good. Okay. A dozen years after joining the Pac-12, Colorado is going to be leaving after this season.
Huh?
Oregon coach Dan Lanning took dead aim on him, basically saying, what have they contributed? Quote, I'm trying to remember what they won to affect this conference, and I don't remember. Do you guys remember them winning anything? Because I don't remember them winning anything.
Hey, Dion.
Seriously.
Hey, primetime. Wow.
Former NFL player Will Compton is not a happy camper or flyer with the travel company Expedia. Seems Will and his family showed up at the JFK airport in New York City to board a plane for a vacation in Italy, only to find out there was no record of them buying the tickets, even though they had the receipts and the emails. So Will fired off an email to Expedia management ordering them to contact him immediately, or, I quote, I have to make you an enemy for the rest of my effing life, and I will have to figure out a way to eliminate you and your offspring so that way there is no successor in the future. I don't want to do that, but I will do what I must. You have 24 hours to respond. The clock is ticking, end quote.
Well, that's not very smart. Holy crime.
And the last I heard...
It's probably illegal. Isn't that it's a threat? Isn't that a bodily harm threat?
Well, it seemed to work because Will...
For his ancestors, for God's sakes.
Will went to JFK to go to Italy. He is now and his family stuck in Nashville. Not really working out for him.
Not that good, no.
On this date in sports history, 1945, Irwin Hall is credited with a single after his line drive winds up inside Dutch Leonard's pants.
Oh, my.
The ball hit him in the stomach and fell down, despite discovering 3 balls in his pants. Dutch got the win anyway.
Oh, my.
1972, Nate Colbert of the Padres stacked 5 homers during a doubleheader. Just the second man in history to do this. 18 years earlier, in 1954, Stan the Man Musial of the Cardinals also hit 5 homers during a twin bill at Sportsman's Park in St. Louis. Sitting in the stands that day was 8-year-old Nate Colbert.
Oh, I'll be darned.
He passed away in January, by the way.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'll be darned.
1978, Pete Rose making the last out when he goes on a strikeout from a Gene Garber changeup. It went 0 for 4, ending a 44-game hitting streak, 1 game shy of breaking the National League record. Garber was the closer. Larry McWilliams was the starter for the Braves. Rose, an unhappy camper afterwards, because he said, Garber threw me a changeup. He should have challenged me with 2 strikes.
Oh, but he's trying to get you out.
This is right after the Reds are losing 16-4, and Rose tries to put down a bunt.
Oh, wow.
For a hit. And he pitched to me like it was the World Series. Well, why not? And by the way, 1982, Hank Aaron, along with Frank Robinson, inducted into the Hall of Fame in Cooperstown.
Outstanding.
So how's that?
Outstanding.
That's sports.
All right, thank you so much, sir. 527 to the phones. It's Mark. Looks like he's on the horn with us. Hello, Mark. Welcome aboard. Thanks for calling.
Jimmer, what's happening?
How you doing, sir?
Just making a mess of my life today is what you're doing.
I
just realized after listening to your show today that after 38 years with the same lady and 2 kids that we're not compatible.
Pack up her stuff. Who doesn't like horror movies?
She doesn't.
I don't either. I can't imagine if I were in love with a girl and she wanted to drag me to her favorite horror movie. I think we'd have an issue.
I think you better run.
All right, man. Thanks. Super fine. Thanks, man. Good to talk to you. Coming up, 528. Coming up, you're going to hear some sound from Congressman Comer about the Hunter Biden business. Also, the excuses that the liberals are going to be using now. And again, if you haven't heard this, they're now claiming, well, Hunter wasn't doing it. He was sort of faking selling influence, but he wasn't really selling anything. It's just, they thought that they would, be better off if he called his dad on it, but he wasn't really selling it, and his dad didn't get anything for it. Well, that's fraud. That's a crime. Getting money for people to perform a service for them, which is getting a link to the old man in the White House, and yet you didn't do it. If you didn't do it, you committed fraud. If you did do it, you're both guilty of treason. Yes.
You know what I forgot?
What'd you forget?
I forgot the Women's World Cup scores.
Oh my God! Well, so we have to have the women's World Cup. And I heard the very exciting news for the American women's team too. But first, here, Pete Davis for the American Cup.
Is this
scores.
breaking news?
It's just kind of breaking news. Could be breaking news.
Former U.S. player Carly Lloyd is criticizing the current team for laughing and dancing on the pitch after another tie.
Yeah, tie.
A 0-0 draw with the pudgy people of Portugal. Meanwhile, the Dutch dyke pluggers embarrassed. I cleaned that one up.
Yeah, you did. All right. Yes, you did.
I could have used another word.
No.
Embarrassed the Viet Cong victims 7-0. The equine-faced English spanked the Kamipinkos of China 6-1, and the delightful dames of Denmark blanked the mother-daughter kidnappers of Haiti 2-0.
By the way, have you, in fact, in this is, I'll bring it in when you come in Thursday of the New Yorker magazine, is a huge issue about Haiti and how the townspeople are having to take justice into their own hands, and more stuff on the news too about what's going on in Haiti. It's a cesspool of violence. Coming up on 5:30. Look out, we got so much more coming up. Here we go. We got breaking news coming up. First, a little harmonic. Let's do a little duet here. It is me. 19. Oh my God. 1964. Billboard. I've never heard this song either. Dylan. Wow. Is this real? Is this somebody
is the
making
original version?
Oh my God. Billboard magazine reported that the harmonica was making a comeback in big ways thanks to Stevie Wonder, the Rolling Stones, the Beatles, and Bob Dylan. There you go. Have you got yours in there, Flounder? Or Pete, was that you, Pete?
That's Pete.
I'll be damned. Back when we were doing the podcast, I went to the music store and bought all of us harmonicas. And I still play mine. I mean, I don't practice it or anything, but I'm very just for kicks. And we got breaking news here in just 1 second. We knew it was going to happen, so it's not surprising, but it just makes me sick. In 1994, first Michael Jackson and Lisa Marie Presley confirmed they are actually married. They secretly got married 11 weeks earlier, 1994. They divorced. It lasted less than 2 years. Yes, ladies and gentlemen. But they kept dating on and off for about 4 years, and then finally did get divorced, Michael Jackson and Lisa Marie. He was 36, she was 25 when they got married in 1994. It lasted 2 years. Okay, ducky. Now just in, we're just ding dong boom. And again, this is breaking as we speak. Donald Trump indicted for the third time. Officials just announced he's indicted in relation to the alleged attempt to interfere with the 2020 election and involvement in January 6th, the mostly peaceful protest, where the only person murdered was an innocent, peacefully protesting unarmed woman shot and murdered in the neck by a rogue police officer who has been heralded as a hero by the Democrat Party. Well, Trump's been indicted in relation to the election thing with January 6th. He announced earlier that he was a target by this guy, Jack Smith. By the way, I saw some history of Jack Smith. He worked for Putty Tat. He's been in, been in charge of every investigation that went after a Republican. He was the guy who did it. President Trump went on Truth Social and said Jack Smith wanted to wait to purposely put this right in the middle of his campaign. The president recently had indicted 37 charges on his mishandling of classified documents. What a joke that is. And the Manhattan DA indicted Trump in relation to his former attorney, Michael Cohen, who paid $130,000 in hush money to Stormy Daniels. Again, this is ridiculous. First of all, how can you use your lawyer's tape-recorded conversations against your own client? But that's a whole other issue. Anyway, Donald Trump indicted again. Third time.
If a Republican was doing this to a Democrat, there'd be riots in the street.
Well, not only that, let's turn it all around. Let's say this had been President White Trash. Let's say, let's say if it had been Don Jr. having all the meetings and can you imagine if Don Jr. was admitting, at least 20 times in business meetings I would call my dad because they wanted to talk to my father and meet my dad. You don't think that they would say obviously collusion? I mean, come on, you're killing me. Just change the party. Go from Don Jr. to Hunter. Mm-hmm. God, it's disgusting. And they're actually charging him, indicting him for the payment to Stormy Daniels. That's not a thing. You can pay a girl to shut up. I mean, seriously. Well, who cares? I mean, by the way, who cares? She's an ugly, man-looking stripper. She's got a square ass. She's big. She's got a head as big as a freaking pumpkin. She looks like a freaking gargoyle. She's hideous. It looks like a man with boobs. And so we paid her money to shut up. Oh, wow. Let's impeach him for that. Why don't we?
She sounds hideous.
Oh, God. I just, this whole thing makes me sick. Another indictment. I mean, I can't believe it. The bias, the obvious bias. Well, let's get James. Can we do the Comer bite here, Flounder? And by the way, we also have, we haven't done Skynet yet, and we got another Flounder's Funnies in here somewhere, too. Well, let's play the James Comer bit, the congressman who is reacting to the Hunter Biden thing and trying to put it in perspective for the people who actually believe what's going on in there.
We have evidence in this sworn testimony that from a fellow Burisma board member that they were pressuring Hunter to immediately get on the phone with his father and get this stopped. So, the evidence continues to mount, and today we saw Joe Biden has lied to the American people. He knew exactly who his son was getting those millions and millions of dollars of wires from, and he spoke to them, and he spoke to them often.
My only concern is that we need to find the money. And the only way to do this, in fact, maybe if they have an actual impeachment inquiry, they can start, subpoenaing people and have depositions. You need to get the bankers. You need to get all those bankers in here before a grand jury or some investigating attorneys or something and say, okay, well, tell us about these corrupt banking problems, which is obviously money laundering, money going from one source to another with no indication of what it's for other than influence peddling. And get every freaking one of them. And get the granddaughter in there. Say, hey, how come you got this money from a Romanian Uncle Ceausescu to help you go to school, granddaughter? If she took money from a Romanian communist guy who was in the influence peddling scheme, then she should be going to prison too, every one of them. Anybody who got the money is in on it.
If this was happening in Brazil or China or Russia or Paraguay, the federal empire of the United States would be up on some high horse pointing, how could you have the party in power indicting your main opponent before the next election? Yeah. We'd be screaming, oh, look how jaded and how horrible that is now. It's crazy, their elections. We have to monitor them. We have the most corrupt government on the face of this earth right now.
This scandal needs a special prosecutor an independent counsel, because this is the biggest political corruption scandal in the history of our country.
Yes.
And by the way, if it had been, another, like you said, another country, they would have sent Jimmy Carter down there, the next plane. Hey, Jimmy, go down and see what's going on down there, would you, buddy?
Monitor their elections.
Yeah, check on it for her, would you?
Who's monitoring ours?
Yeah, and Jesse Jackson. Let's get Jesse Jackson to monitor foreign elections, too, while we're at it. Oh, my God. Oh, it's just despicable. Let's play. How about the MSNBC thing? This guy, Dan Goldman, a liar from New York, a Democrat, and this MSNBC people are now trying to do a tearjerker defense of why Hunter Biden and President White Trash were doing all this communicating. Had nothing to do with business. It was something much more sad, I'm afraid.
Yeah, maybe he is guilty of turning a blind eye to some of his son's behavior. And we should put this in context. This is a time when Beau Biden, the president's other son, was ill and then dying. And then passed away. So perhaps he was not as attentive to what he should have been here. But again, there has simply been no evidence, Gene Robinson, no evidence at all that he was profiting from this or that either of them committed a crime.
Yeah. Yeah. Morning show regulars say, gee, they weren't talking about anything but, routine stuff. This is such nonsense. They know exactly. Oh, in fact, where's that? I can't find the New York Times thing now. It was Oh, here we go. The New York Times. This is amazing. Pete mentioned this earlier. We got that earlier today. The New York Times has now actually basically admitted that they've been lying all along, and so has President White Trash. Readers uncovered this gem in the article from the New York Times about the hearing and the ex-business partner. Quote, it has long been known that the elder Mr. Biden at times interacted with his son's business partners. Excuse me? They're saying this now? The New York Times says, well, we've known for a long time that, Joe Biden interacts with his son's business partners. No, apparently he's been denying it forever. So they just outed him. They just called the president
years.
a liar.
It went from conspiracy theory to basically it was a baseless accusation to now, oh yeah, we knew all the time he was doing it.
Yeah, and then it was, well, he's never talked to him at all about any business thing. And then it was, well, he's never done business with his son, and now therefore no longer denying that he's ever even talked to him about it. It's just scandal, the lies and the deceit. And again, if this had been a Republican, if this had been Don Jr., you think they would have said, well, he was probably talking about his sick sister, or they were just talking about the weather. Yeah, if that had been Don Jr. in all these meetings, well, they were just, and getting millions of dollars from the communist Chinese. Oh yeah, he was just talking about the weather and just wanted to say hi to Dad in case he was doing badly. Check in on him.
It's Orwellian how they're changing. That's what they always do on the left. They change the meaning of words.
That's really despicable. Oh my God! We got Flounders Follies coming up, and more stuff, actual stuff. It's 5:45 already here with the Kipper, Flounder, and Pete, and New Nick.
Stuff.
How's it going? It's only me. It's only the Kimmer, 548, with Pete Davis and Flounder and New Nick the intern. And we got a couple things coming up here, including a little thing on phone talk. We'll get to in a second. First of all, on this day, 1980. Now, what song is this? Is just kind of a background elevator type
this is
thing.
Government Mule.
Government Mule. All right, sir. In 1981, on this day, MTV was launched in an estimated 2 million homes at 12:01 a.m., just after midnight. It started off with the first words were, "Ladies and gentlemen, rock and roll." The first video, we all know, video killed the radio star by the Buggles, whose prophecy did not come true. In fact, MTV gave up playing videos years ago. Nobody's heard from the Buggles in 30 years. If you're still listening to the radio, though, which is a good point. Which, by the way, is a great song, too. I like that song. Every time I hear it, I enjoy it. Let's see, a couple quick. I hear a little sports note here. It was yesterday, 1981, the baseball players' strike of 81 ended after 7 weeks. Issue was on free agency mostly in 81.
And we got a rumor.
A rumor? About today's trading stuff?
Yeah, Joel Sherman says that the Cardinals are still looking to trade Jack Flaherty, and the Dodgers want him, and maybe the Braves want him.
I don't know about him at all. Do you know anything about that?
He was a few years ago. He was great, and he's been injured.
Is he a pitcher?
Often, he's a pitcher. He's a starting pitcher. He was their ace. Him and Adam Wainwright. I mean, Flaherty was almost unhittable 2 or 3 years ago.
I remember Wainwright. I don't remember Flaherty.
Flaherty used to give Braves fits. I don't know how well he's doing this year, but supposedly Dodgers and Braves are looking at him.
Well, I think we can always use bullpen. You can always use bullpen help.
No, we need a starter. Is what we need.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm starting picturing. Let's see. Strike 81 ended after 1932. Enzo Ferrari retired from racing in 1932, and then 18 years later, 1950, he launched his line of famous cars bearing his name, the Enzarunis. It's kind of a famous thing. I don't even know what that is. By the way, just in case you missed it, you remember the other day we talked about and heard the comments of Nancy Mace from South Carolina, that hot congresswoman chick, who said she was going to be late for the prayer breakfast the other day because her boyfriend grabbed her by the waist and wanted to have sex with her one more time before she left for work. And she said, and she's laughing about how she was almost late for the prayer breakfast. Well, the Babylon Beast now announced that wives across the nation announced that they too have to get to a prayer breakfast, informing disappointed husbands that making love just has to wait. I know, third prayer breakfast this week. Crazy, said Ashley Jones to her husband Michael. I just really love prayer and breakfast. Husbands have noted a drop-off in wives having headaches coinciding with a sudden explosion in prayer breakfasts. Ashley's evening headaches just suddenly stopped right as she's had this apparent spiritual awakening, said Mr. Jones. I'm really grateful she's rediscovered her prayer life, but the timing of these breakfasts has been the absolute worst. To their chagrin, husbands also discovered that prayer breakfasts are now routinely being held at 9 p.m., especially on Fridays. It's more like a prayer brinner, explained local wife Kelsey Crenshaw. I can't be late, otherwise I'd totally be up for it, babe. Also, there may be margaritas at Brinner, so I'll take an Uber. At publishing time, marriage counselors have reported a sudden surge in couples seeking help for dealing with prayer breakfasts. Yeah.
Hey, that reminds me of Netflix right now. Flounder, have you seen this? Peter Dinklage, you know, the dwarf on Game of Thrones?
Yeah.
He's narrating and producing a series. It says how to create your own cult. And it gives you a step-by-step instruction going through Charlie Manson and Jim Jones and Reverend Sun Young Moon and all, and basically tells you step-by-step how you can make your own cult.
Why would you want to have your own cult?
And it's very entertaining. It's funny.
Is this supposed to be like a bit, a thing? I mean, a bit?
It's like it's half comedy, half drama. It literally just takes all the crazy guys and says how they made their own cults. And there's certain steps you can take that all work.
Can you give an example, or do you know what they are, or is that all secret still?
You have to basically, you got to be 100% gung-ho on something. Yeah. And if it doesn't work, you got to immediately pivot and start doing something that works. You got to make people feel good about themselves, right? Mm-hmm. And you got to perform either a miracle or do something that they can't do, which makes them look at you in awe. Mm-hmm. And it just goes on I'm on like episode 2 right now on Jim Jones, and it's amazing how they all share the same traits. God.
I remember weeping on television. I was a TV anchor man when the Jim Jones guy, Jonestown, those murders, man, the mass suicides and stuff, and man, that was
a congressman. Remember when a congressman got killed?
Yeah.
We thought, oh my God,
assassinated. In fact, the video showed them shooting the congressman in the head, and there were a couple of people of the camera crew who were starting going, oh my God, and say, shut up, they'll see us, because they were hiding. They were hiding on their stomachs down, like 100 yards away or something. And if they had been heard, they would have been shot too. It was unbelievable. Oh my God!
It blew everybody's mind. 1978. We never thought a congressman could be killed.
Yeah. I remember that I remember weeping on the air. I said, don't look at these pictures. All those bloated bodies of children drinking the Kool-Aid.
Which is where we get the phrase.
That's right. Drink the Kool-Aid. Pete sent me along. I think as you sent me this, the confessions of a phone sex operator.
Yeah.
A woman says, what I got was a crash course in America's loneliness epidemic. It's not horny men, but lonely ones who keep the phones ringing. That's why she strongly recommends working on Christmas, Thanksgiving, and Valentine's Day when loneliness hits peak levels. I've come to appreciate this profession so much more than my conservative ass could have imagined. Many of these women put the standard ideal of loving thy neighbor to shame. So men want companionship and not harlots? Weird. I guess my great-great-grandfather's world was correct. Too bad feminists broke everything. Anyway, I'm not sure exactly what that goes up to. Making us pay to read about the thing. Anyway, have you ever? I'll bet we've all. I mean, I can remember many examples of talking.
It's different once the internet came about. It just didn't need phone sex operators.
Yeah. But I'm sure. Well, I don't talk a big issue having Miss Veronica. I don't want to get involved in that thing. But there have been times in my past when a couple of examples of a particular female would request.
Have the dump button ready there.
No, I won't. But they had the request that I would help them achieve an arrival of a certain destination on the phone. And I was, of course, obliged and honored to participate in this.
Did you ever record any of these?
No, I don't. I didn't have any recordings.
Well, that's why I got Prince Charles and Camilla in trouble because somebody recorded it.
Yeah. Didn't you say he wanted to be her douche powder or something? Run through one more time. I swear to God, he did. He said something like it was horrible. By the way,
I heard a great joke concerning tampons yesterday, but I can't tell it. I'll tell you.
Yeah, this is radio, not podcast.
Sometimes we forget. Oh, my God. Oh, mercy. 5:56. Oh, my goodness. And school, I still can't believe school's open already. I just can't believe the school's open.
When I was a kid here in DeKalb County, it was past Labor Day. Yeah.
5:56. How about a Flounders Fun? You have another
Yes, I do.
Fun?
This one's a little different. Yesterday, I sent this to you and Pete, and you couldn't open it. And everybody knows that Senator John Kennedy...
He's hysterical.
And has funny comments, to say the least. Anyways, this was an ad. I think it's from 2020 or 2021, but I think you'll get the end punchline to be pretty funny.
Violent crime is surging in Louisiana. Woke leaders blame the police. I blame the criminals. A mom should not have to look over her shoulder when she's pumping gas. I voted against the early release of violent criminals, and I opposed defunding the police. Look, if you hate cops just because they're cops, the next time you get in trouble, call a crackhead. I'm John Kennedy, and I approve this message.
You know the really sad thing about that? In Louisiana, about the moms looking over their shoulders at gas stations?
Yeah.
He was talking about Ed Orgeron.
Oh, the former coach, LSU coach,
He tried to pick women up at the gas station.
That's right. Then he got caught. He got with somebody's wife. What is it, like the administrator's wife or something? I mean, I think it was the LSU athletic director's wife. He tried to hit on her at the gas station. All right, hold on. To the phones. 5:57. Here's Steve. Hello, Steve. How's it going? Welcome, sir.
All right. Here's my impression of Prince Charles talking to Camilla. I remember hearing this. Just real quick, he says, I want to move into your knickers.
Your knickers.
They play that scene in The Crown, the Netflix series The Crown. They do that whole scene.
Oh, really? Because that's why in fact, the Royals were announcing before the last episode showed up, when it was coming out, that they were not very happy with the way this was being portrayed. And again, Prince, as far as I'm concerned, Prince Charles killed Princess Diana. How could he have possibly, with that nasty, ridiculous woman that he had married and made the queen concubine, consort, concubine, same thing. But how he could have cheated on that innocent little virgin and killed her?
Now later on, she wasn't so innocent. But
after he'd been cheating on her for 7 or 8 years, she finally said, "Well, I'm going to get me a little something too," and you hit the old riding instructor boy there.
So I don't. Everybody else.
Yeah. Well, you can't blame. I mean, if he's been cheating on her their entire marriage.
Yeah.
They didn't have a marriage. So anyway.
Well, you saw the one guy. I mean, is Prince Harry really the son of Prince Charles or King Charles.
Oh, they thought about the horseman instructor.
If you look at the person she had an affair with, it looks exactly like Harry.
Yeah. Well, it's like Pierre Trudeau and Justin Trudeau is Fidel Castro's kid, and what's his name is Frank Sinatra's son with Roman Farrow. Mia Farrow. No question about it. Anyway, God, we all in the town. I can't believe it. By the way, on this day in 1964, Ranger 7 went to the moon to discover if the surface was actually cream cheese. They found out it was, and they realized that the photos taken back flashing to Earth in 1964 from Ranger 7 showed the moon had enough of a safe place to land man, and it happened less than 6 years later.
Was it salted cream cheese?
It was salted cream. And by the way, I'm still looking for the wooden matches that have the sulfur tip on the top, not the safety matches. They got to be the one little white dot on top of the red on top of the stick, wood stick. And when I do that, you're going to see me lighting that puppy with my thumbnail and turning it all black like I did as a kid. Anyway, God bless America. I got to go. You're killing me. See you tomorrow, boys. Hurt on herp.